Chevrolet Equinox and invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Silverados only at Gateway Chevrolet. Plus, find out about 2.9% financing on select Chevrolet models. That's right, 2.9% on select Chevrolets and invoice pricing on 2023 Equinox and Silverados at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
The LA Chargers have announced that they have fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and quarterbacks coach Shane Day. The Cleveland Browns are making moves as well. They're hiring Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator. Last night in the NFL, the Cowboys dominated and eliminated the Buccaneers, snapping an 8-game road playoffs losing streak. During the fourth quarter, wide receiver Russell Gage was carted off the field and was hospitalized with a concussion. The Buccaneers announced today that Gage has movement in all his extremities and will continue to undergo additional testing today. The NFL has advised the Bills and the Chiefs to start selling tickets for the potential neutral site AFC Championship game. Season ticket holders for both teams who opted in to purchase AFC Championship game tickets will have first priority beginning tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. All other fans can participate in the pre-sale Friday at 10 a.m. I'm Monty Bolaños.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
Insiders.
Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
Oh, some good stuff. Some very, very good stuff. Fun talking sports. Fun talking before the show gets going. Should sell a sponsorship for just like right before the show. You can be in the studio with us. But welcome on in, the Insiders with you. Got, of course, Rob Hipp, voice of the Bison. Good to see you again, Rob.
Good to be here.
You got Shaggy P, Micah Bindi, who said he was going to get a haircut. Didn't get a haircut yesterday. It looks even shaggier than before. His life has gone down the tubes. He's in depressed mode after the Vikings loss.
Is it even darker? Is it a darker brown now?
No, I think it's about the same color, but it's definitely darker than it was before you left for Frisco. For sure.
When we wrap up the show today, I'm calling Men's Hair Company. I'm going to pay them an exorbitant amount of money to have someone show up and pick you up and force you to get a haircut, Micah.
I'm getting a haircut today.
Do it on the horse cam.
Yeah.
I'll be guaranteeing a haircut. I'll be no more Shaggy P. Is that what my nickname is? Yeah, no more Shaggy P tomorrow, guaranteed. I got a couple stops after the show today.
There it is again.
So if he doesn't get a haircut today, Rob, then punishment is shaved head on Mevo Cam on Thursday.
Are you down for that?
Thursday or tomorrow?
Thursday.
Okay, yeah. So if I don't have my haircut
by the time you show up for Thursday's show, shaved off on the horse cam.
Okay. I will shave your hair.
Do we have clips here?
Yes, I do. I have a hair. No, I have a haircut clip.
We could buzz it.
Perfect.
I haven't done a buzz cut since I was like a kid.
Perfect. That's what we'll do.
I will personally, on the Mevo cam, on the horse cam, behind the scenes, people will see it. I think Micah Bindi shaving.
I think that could actually look really, really good. Shaved head, and I still have my beard and mustache. That could be a good look for me.
Tough look. Yeah, tough
look.
No,
good look.
Tough look.
And then get some fake tats. Get some fake tats like on your neck, and then you would, man.
Or just go mohawk. Shave it all the way down, except for right in the middle. Just leave it a little bit buzzed.
The Cole Jurek senior mohawk?
Yes, the Cole Jurek senior mohawk look. Exactly like that. That's what we need. That's a good, tough look for you. So that's the deal on Thursday if Micah hasn't gotten the hair cut up by our great friends there at Men's Hair Company by Thursday. Welcome on into the show, though. Fun one for you. And as always, 2-hour tour of some sports talk, but we want you involved in the show as well. Call us up, 701-476-1660. You can also text us at that very same number. That's how you get involved in the Epic Companies hotline. Thanks to all the listeners last night. I know we had some on the Bison basketball radio shows as well that were tuning in and chiming in. Been a really fun season so far for both the men and the women, especially this men's team as of late, getting those 5 straight wins and on a roll right now. Both teams currently second place in the Summit League, so we'll touch on both of those teams a little bit. We do have the Summit League Shootaround brought to you by our great friend Todd Cattermas, the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics, coming up at 11:30. Talk some ORU basketball. Adam Hildebrandt will stop by, and also some Kansas City basketball with a first-time guest on the program there, Rob.
Yeah, excited. We'll have assistant head coach joining us there as well. So wanted to, they don't really have a radio crew that we could have reached out to. And so I said, who can we get on? And we'll have their associate head coach joining us a little bit later as well.
There you go. So some conversation about the two teams upcoming for both men and women's basketball, ORU and Kansas City. The men are home. Pack that shack on Thursday. Make sure you get there Thursday night for the game against ORU, and then Saturday as well at noon. Or at 1 o'clock, I should say, but noon starting with Bison Shootaround on 107.9 The Fox with our broadcast, but 1 o'clock Saturday against Kansas City. The women on the road Thursday night and also Saturday at 2 p.m. against Kansas City. We'll give you some more info on both of those games as we go on further throughout the week. Also at noon today, we'll be having Easton Stick, our final conversation with Easton of the year. We're going to keep them going as long as they were in the playoffs. And, of course, the Chargers are out of the playoffs. They lost to the Jaguars in round one, blowing a 27-0 lead. And it's a tough one. Tough one to swallow. I was talking with Easton about it, and he goes, yep, it's part of the job. It's part of the business, but it's a brutal way to finish. It's a tough one. And then we find out today as well, this morning from Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport and all the others, that the Chargers have made some overhaul on the coaching side of things, on the offensive side, firing Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, also quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator. So completely overhauling the offensive side of the football there, and that's going to be a very highly sought-after position, I would think, because if I was a really good quarterbacks coach or coordinator or something, and I had a really good opportunity to become an offensive coordinator, working with Justin Herbert would be one of the top 3 jobs that you could think of. And this year, it's probably the top job you can think of. But in all of the NFL, it's got to be, I think, a top 5 job to work with Justin Herbert.
Oh yeah, of course. And one name that could be put in the hat immediately: Nathaniel Hackett, losing a head coaching job. Now, do you think he can get it? I think he can get an OC job again.
I think that'd be tough. He looked real bad. Completely overwhelmed, and I get that that's because of the responsibilities as a head coach, but also he wasn't calling the plays in Green Bay. That was all LaFleur that was calling them when he was the OC in Green Bay. So
Kevin O'Connell wasn't calling plays in L.A.
Correct, but we've seen Kevin O'Connell was successful first year, whereas Nathaniel Hackett, he wasn't, and then he became a head coach and was calling plays, and like halfway through the season he gave up play calling. And 4 weeks into the season, he needed a babysitter and Jerry Rosper to come up and tell him game management stuff. Like, there's very different results there, and I don't know if it'd be tough for me. I think from the fan base perspective, if I'm a Chargers fan, and it's not all about what the fans, but you got to win the press conference a little bit. If I'm a Chargers fan, you told me we got Nathaniel Hackett who looked that bad in division, I would probably not be signing up for that, personally.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. I just thought,
but it's
just
definitely
a demotion just because he was a head coach, could get an OC job.
Yeah. It's definitely a sought-after position. I mean, you get Justin Herbert, who top 6 quarterback, talent-wise, top 7 quarterback, something like that. For sure a top 10 quarterback. I know he hasn't won in the playoffs, and that's the big thing. Got to win the big games. That's what his detractors will say. But talent-wise, I don't think it's really questionable. He's definitely got some talent and very young still. You can build that team around Justin Herbert and hopefully build it around him for a long, long time. But let's wait no longer. Let's not stand on ceremony here. And let's get to the A topic of the day, which has to be, yep, you said it, the Cowboys.
I whispered it there because I didn't know where you were going, Andy.
It's the Cowboys.
Cowboys!
It's the Cowboys. Rob Hipp, you can gloat. Stand up. Cowboys Nation. Weedham boys, whatever you want to say. This is your opportunity. Go for it.
All right, I'm pulling a Jason Garrett right now from behind the scenes. You can hear it here. Now you can actually clap in celebration and not after an interception, not after losing a game. For those minuscule Cowboy fans that are out there, and I don't say minuscule, I mean, there's not a lot of them up here, but join me today in reverence. The almighty Cowboys have now won for the first time in 30 years in a road playoff game. We them boys, baby. Let's go.
That is a long time to be without a road playoff victory.
Dak Prescott wasn't even alive then.
You got it. That's all that matters. You got the road playoff victory. Mike McCarthy's job, I think, is completely safe. I think it should have been safe before the game, honestly. And now Dak Prescott has a little bit of, I don't want to say reputation of winning games, but you can get the monkeys off the back a little bit. Okay, we won a playoff game. It was on the road. It was against Tom Brady. Now, let's be real about this. Everyone's going to blow this out of proportion. They did not beat a good team. The Bucs, yeah, and Tom Brady's good, and Tom Brady's got that mystique about him. that was not a good team. They were 8-9 in a terrible, terrible division. That was not a very good football team. That's why I picked the Cowboys to win the game. I thought they were not just the better team. I thought they were far and away the better team, but they got the victory. Tony Pollard looks great. The defense is legit. They got all of a sudden Xavier Rhodes is on the Cowboys now too. I just saw that last night. Didn't know that was a thing, but apparently he was on their practice squad. Fall from grace for Xavier Rhodes, but now he's opposite of Trevon Diggs, and you've got a really good defense, a good offensive line, and a quarterback that can get the job done. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you. You know, it's a good day to be a Cowboys fan. It's not a good day to be a Brett Maher fan. Just unbelievable. You start out, you miss the point after kick. Okay, whatever. You miss them every great once in a while. You miss the next one. That's not good. You miss the third, and you're like, okay, that's never happened.
Okay, cut the guy. That's what you're saying after the third.
Yeah, and we saw Mike McCarthy. We were joking around at our company meeting a little bit earlier this morning, and one of our colleagues, he goes, Mike McCarthy's over there on the sideline with his Taco Bell headset on, talking, and it was almost just like, hey, do you want fries with that? It's time to get a new kicker. And do you want a side of fries with the new kicker as well? I mean, it's just unbelievable performance. I could not believe that. Unbelievable in a bad way. And then 4. How do you miss 4? Just crazy. And I tweeted out, we talked about it yesterday, Andy. Mm-hmm. You feel it in your heart that you just want your team to win. You're going to always say, hey, our team's going to come through. We're going to win. As a fan, all the fans know that. But then deep in your gut, you have this feeling that something's going to mess up. And it always does with the Cowboys. And I thought after that third one, I said, Tom Brady's going to engineer this magical comeback from behind victory, and it's all going to come down to those missed point after kicks. And thank goodness, for the first time in my life, my Cowboys gut was not right. My heart was right.
Here's the question. I tweeted it out last night. Cowboys win, and you win that one convincingly, dominant fashion. That's a good win. It's a great win. You feel really confident about that as they go on the road now to San Francisco. They're going to have to face the 49ers there in Santa Clara. But do you at all feel confident about the possibility of a Brett Maher extra point, field goal, or anything for that next game?
No.
Would you just go for 2?
Because it gets in your head. Well,
I would just go for 2.
Dak Prescott thinks you should go for 2.
Yeah. You only got to hit it once every 2 times to be on point, up to the same amount of points. So
you can read Dak's lips after those.
Oh, yes,
you know exactly what he said.
Absolutely. So my point being, as a Vikings fan, Micah, we know this. We've been through this thing countless number of times of the should you fire or cut the kicker? Should you get a different kicker? Should you do this or that? We did it with Daniel Carlson after all the missed field goals early against the Packers, and now he's an all-pro kicker and all this kind of stuff. Every single time, whether it be 3-0 first quarter, whether it be something in the third quarter, or a game-winning field goal, no Cowboys fan, or for that matter, Cowboys player or coach, or Jerry Jones, no one's going to feel confident that Brett Maher is going to make it. They might hope and believe he could, and he should, but no one's going to believe he actually will make it, and I'm calling it before it happens. They're going to lose because of a missed field goal.
Oh, man.
I think they'll lose for other reasons against the 49ers. Sorry, Rob. I hate to burst your happy bubble right now.
Robbie Gould, the kicker for the 49ers, has never missed a field goal or extra point in the playoffs.
Good. He's due. That's what I love to hear. I love those kind of stats because that means he's due. That is the sports talk show host jinx that you just threw out there.
Perfect.
But I love what Mike McCarthy said. He said we're going to work with him. And he didn't overreact. It wasn't knee-jerk reaction of that was bad. We're gonna have to look outside. He still had confidence in his kicker, and he's like, we're just gonna keep working with him. It's one bad game, and I think you can't do that with kickers because, like you said, Daniel Carlson is having a prolific career now as a kicker. If you show confidence, it's amazing what can happen when you show confidence in someone, and they're like, hey, I can still do this. Someone believes in me, so I should believe in myself as well. So I'm gonna say the opposite. I'm gonna say Brett Maher makes a 50-yarder against the Niners.
Okay.
But still loses, though.
Yeah, they're gonna get shellacked.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Other reasons.
Not going to happen.
I agree with you. You shouldn't overreact to one game. It's easy not to when you win by whatever it was, end up being a 4-score victory. It's easy to be like, yeah, it was a bad performance. We won the game by four scores, so it doesn't really matter. I think the Daniel Carlson one, didn't they finish tied or they lost the game against the Packers that year? It's a little more frustrating when you're like, he's literally the reason we lost. If he just makes the points he's supposed to make, we win the game. It's a little easier just to say, yeah, we'll work on him or work with him, whatever. when you win by that many points. But you're not going to feel confident anytime he steps up there, Rob.
They're going to start measuring time. I think it was the Abraham Lincoln speech, like 4 scored 7 years ago. Now it's going to be 4 scores and a Tom Brady ago is how they're going to start measuring it in Cowboys land, because Brady's done. Look, he's a free agent. He's not coming back. That's a whole nother segment in the discussion. I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back. He should have went out into the sunset like my good man David Robinson did in the NBA in 2003 with the national championship, right out into the sunset.
Like Peyton Manning.
Save your wife, save your marriage, and go out on top. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But I will say that the Cowboys are going to come out. They're going to play dominant against the 49ers. If that was on the board, it can go there because they will win.
Yeah, put her on the board.
You want to know what's dominant? Is this dominant just like a win? The Cowboys will win?
Yeah, because it's a tough matchup. They're going to dominate on the I'm going to give them the rushing attack in this ball game. I think the consistency with Dak has not really been there this season, but they've had a good run game. I'm going to say that Dallas will have a dominant rushing game against a very good 49ers rush defense, but the Cowboys will take care of business. Dominant rushing game. Cowboys win.
Who has more rushing yards, Niners or Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Oh.
That's my heart
ice
speaking.
Bucket challenge. Will you put ice bucket challenge?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do ice bucket.
So this is just a straight up win?
Yeah,
Cowboys
just
win?
Straight up Cowboys win. If they lose, I'll do an ice bucket challenge. We will get some plastic here in the studio, and I'll do it right here on the horse cam.
Okay, there we go.
On the show.
That's the plan. That's our.
I'm down for that.
There you go. It's
Let's
on
have
the board.
fun, man.
Absolutely.
We
Believe
haven't
in your
did
team.
that this season.
I'm right there with you. Believe in your team, Rob. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm definitely rooting for the 49ers because of it. But believe in your team. You should. You just won in dominant fashion on the road in the playoffs. You should absolutely believe in your team. I would be too. But now go 49ers all the way. Go faithful, whatever they say out there. All for the 49ers because I want to just see that happen. But, again, it's the Brett Maher thing. You're not going to feel confident anyway when he steps up there. It's a tough life to live. Doesn't mean he's going to miss kicks, but I've lived that life as a Vikings fan. Your heart is in the bottom of your stomach every time he steps up for a field goal, an extra point, anything like that. And if there's a field goal on the line, I've seen that play out so many times. I don't think it's going to go right if that is the case.
It's amazing how tough we are on kickers. Like, if you're not perfect or if you miss this one kick, you could get cut. But then if a quarterback misses this one throw or a running back fumbles it, it's like, we'll give you another chance.
It's the only thing you do. You just kick.
Running backs just
you don't
run.
lift weights. You don't do any of that stuff. You just got to kick.
Well, offensive linemen just have to block. What if they miss a block?
Yeah, but they're doing a lot of things out there.
Kickers doing a lot of things.
You got to worry about stunts. You got a huge defensive lineman across from you. With the kicker, you just kick the ball. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just kick the ball.
You have to worry about how high, angle.
Yeah, that's part of kicking the ball. That's all part of kicking the ball.
It's all part of blocking.
You're not worried about the other person or that kind of stuff. Or
you got to worry about the holder doing his
weights.
job.
You don't do the conditioning, the off-season stuff. It's the kicker.
You got to worry about the ground and how the.
Okay, now you're just grasping at so many.
I'm for the kickers and punters. They have lives too.
No.
I know a guy. I need to get him on this show. It's Brent Grablichoff. Great guy. He has an organization called Kicking World USA. And, in fact, Caden Steindorf that's where I first met Caden long before I knew I was going to be up here. And I would like to get Coach Grablichoff on here. He's well known in the kicking world. That's what he does. He coaches up kickers. And have him discuss this and be like, why are they so hard on the kickers versus quarterbacks? And get his feedback on that. Because he'll probably say what you said, because that's their only job. But I'd like to hear what his feedback is on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things that go into the quarterback position. With all the film study and stuff, you're not doing film study for the field goal kicks. Just go out there and make your kicks. That's what people want. That's the easy part of the game. And I know it's not easy. I couldn't go out there and do it. I'm not saying that. But to everybody out there, especially the players on the team, we did our job. Just do your job. It's the easier part. That's the way it's viewed. It's the way it's always going to be viewed. And that's why that's why it's a stressful position. It's difficult. But go out there and make your kick. That's all people want. And Maher definitely didn't do that, but it did not come back to hurt the Cowboys in that game. You mentioned the other side of that game, though. It's clearly the storyline now is, Tom Brady. What's he going to do? Is he going to come back? Is he going to retire? Have we seen the last of Tom Brady? We've only seen the last of him in a Buccaneers uniform. We do have that poll question up for you right now, Bison1660 on Twitter. Poll of the day for you is Tom Brady. Is he going to retire? Or is he going to be back playing in the NFL again this next year? It can be with the Bucs, it can be with the Raiders, it can be with the Vikings or anybody else, whatever team. Just will he be back next year, or will he be on the sidelines, retired, doing something else other than football? Micah, what are the up to the second results?
50-50 split right now.
There you
so
go.
Dead tie.
I think that's where a lot of people think it is. It's pretty up in the air, and I wouldn't be surprised either way. I do think whatever he decides is going to be the decision. I think if he retires, it's not going to be I retire and then 35 days later, I'm back.
He doesn't have anybody to tell him anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
She's gone.
Like he can do whatever he wants, right? It's up to him. It's his decision here. I think he'll take some time, but I do think he's gone from Tampa. And I know we have the audio of last night. You can hear a little bit of some emotion in his voice as well, the scene when he left that field after the loss. But this was Tom Brady post-game at the end of that post-game press conference.
I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort. I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and you guys got a tough job, and I appreciate all that you guys do to cover us and everyone who watches and is a big fan of the sport. We're very grateful for everyone's support, and hopefully I love this organization. It's a great place to be, and thank you everybody for welcoming me, all you regulars, and just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys, so thank you very much.
I think it sounded more emotional than it was, just because I think it's more of the attitude of the season coming to an end and not having a good game and just kind of being frustrated. I don't think it was really all that emotional, but I will say it sounds like he's saying goodbye. Now, was he saying goodbye to the NFL or goodbye to Tampa? I think that's what you're trying to decipher, and I think it's Tampa. I think he knows, okay, I'm probably gone from here. I've got something left. It's not like he was awful. Was he the Tom Brady of old? No, but he was also asked to do a lot. Tom Brady's probably not the elite quarterback he used to be. He's still a very good quarterback, but he's probably fallen into the realm of a quarterback who needs everything really good around him in order to win. He needs a very good, very, very good offensive line, a quality running game, and some elite receivers to throw to.
I think he's still way better than a guy like Drew Bledsoe when Drew Bledsoe was kind of fading into the sunset. Mm-hmm. We saw Drew come and play at Dallas, and you could tell his writing was on the wall. And I'm definitely not trying to compare like a Drew Bledsoe 100% to Tom Brady, because there is no comparison. But he
started their career, though.
But he did lead the Patriots to success early on, and he kind of set that precedent for Brady to come in and continue what he did. But I kind of feel like that with Brady, and I think if he does try to go and play another year, another two, I almost think that you start to, and he's always going to be like the greatest, don't get me wrong, but I think in a way it almost starts to diminish everything that you've done. And I always go back to talking about Emmitt Smith. Like, I wish that he would have just went out on top. And I think him playing an extra year and then going to Arizona, I think in a way that kind of diminished a little bit about what he was able to do.
I think about Adrian Peterson, one of the best running backs, you could say. I think you could make an argument for best running back in the history of the game. Now, it's not. There's a lot of other guys in there, clearly. But Adrian Peterson was thought of as, like, for sure a top 5 running back in the history of the league. Almost had the rushing title, all that kind of stuff. And then he sticks around for, like, there's a year in Tennessee and then, like, half the year here and picked up as a free agent there and then Seattle for, like, 2 months. And it's like, you just tarnished everything you did. And I get why he did it. There was some financial reasons to it. But I agree with you. If you stick around, you can overstay your welcome a little bit. And you can kind of take away from that legacy. I thought Peyton Manning did a good job getting out when he did. It was clear he had nothing left, but they won a Super Bowl, and he got out and said, that's it. I'm going to ride off into the sunset on top. And there's definitely been other players that have stuck around too long and tried to live it out. But the side of it for Tom Brady, who's obviously one of the ultimate competitors, is once you walk away, you walk away. And especially with everything off the field this year, when you walk away from football, what do you have? Who are you? And I think he might be struggling with that a little bit. That's probably reading too much into things, but especially with, you got the divorce off the field stuff this year. Family's a little bit different than it was before. Just who are you if you walk away? Me personally, I know he's going to go into a broadcasting career somewhere. I don't want to see Tom Brady on the TV right away.
He still has that deal with Fox once he's done.
Exactly. He has that deal once he's done. He's going to be at Fox. And it's going to happen. He will be on the TV immediately after, and he'll be an analyst for the next 20 years. It's just like I've kind of had my fill of Tom Brady. Does anybody feel like that? I felt like this the same way last year, and Jeff called me nuts, but I kind of want a couple years off between. Like, I don't need the pretty boy face up there once again, and then Tom Brady this and Tom Brady that. It's like my whole entire life's been Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. I just need a break.
I don't know. My whole life growing up was like John Madden, John Madden, John Madden. I always loved John Madden.
Yeah, was he already? Well, I guess he was
done. He was done. Yeah, it was just. But I mean, he wasn't playing anymore. But no, I think it's kind of one of those things, Andy, because if you take that time, you need to know first, like, hey, am I going to be a great broadcaster? Are things going to work out for me? Because we've seen that transition. We've seen what happened in Dallas. Whenever they're tied in, my mind just went blank.
Jason Witten.
Jason Witten
Same
goes
with Drew Brees.
Yeah, it's
Drew
like
Brees
it was
lasted
terrible.
2 years, and he's like, "Yeah, this isn't for me. I'm done. I'm out." Yeah.
But I wouldn't get tired. I would enjoy it because I'm a big Romo fan. I was so excited when Tony Romo got into that broadcasting booth.
I think part of it, depends on how good he is. Yeah, I mean, if he comes up there and he's just electric and it's phenomenal, they'll be like, okay, this is great. Yeah, let's keep him going. But I think part of it is just we all are enamored with Tom Brady. I'm kind of like, I mean, he's an amazing quarterback. He's done great work. He looks great for his age if you want to go that route. But I'm just kind of over it right now. But I'll see how he does in the booth before I make an ultimate determination.
We've seen Tom Brady's personality outside of football, like at like the match when he's participated in those, and like golfing, and just like you see more of Tom Brady, not the football side of him, but him as a person. And I think that'll correlate over to his broadcasting career. And I think he'll be really, really good and entertaining.
I think you can do that game when you're a kid and you say a word and you say, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? And I think if you had 100 people and you talk to each one of them one-on-one, of course not in a group setting because it would alter the results, but you just say, first thing that pops into your mind, NFL football player. I think 80% of those would say Tom Brady.
Right now?
Right now. Well, no. Well, look, here. No, they'd probably say Brett Maher.
Yeah. They'd probably say Brett Maher.
But I think I truly think, though, that the majority of them would say Tom Brady because he is kind of that guy. When you think of the NFL, you think of Tom Brady.
Yeah, there's some people who definitely think about him that way.
I think older generation would probably think of Tom Brady, and then younger generation would probably think of Patrick Mahomes. You think of quarterbacks first when you think of football.
Mahomes
That's a good
there's
point.
some people who are just like the big in the social media world, and it's probably someone like a Justin Jefferson or those like social media stars. And he's got all the things on Warzone and all the other Call of Duty, all the other video games and stuff too. Like he's just kind of the young age is probably more of a Justin Jefferson, somebody like that type of fan. But yeah, I'm personally just I need some time off from Tom Brady.
Can't get sick of him.
I'm a little sick of him, to be quite honest with you.
I would have been if he would have beat the Cowboys, but now that we beat him, I'm like, all right, whatever, Tom. You're off my list now.
If you're the team that knocks Tom Brady out, like his last game was against you.
Yeah.
That's how it felt for, I'm sure, I believe it was the Tennessee Titans, his last game in New England, when they picked him off on the last pass of his Patriots career. But vote on that poll question, Bison1660 there on Twitter. What do you think Tom Brady does for next year? Is he going to retire or come back for one more year? And I can't wait to talk about that very topic for the next 4 months on all sports talk radio stations. It's going to be an absolute hoot. Other news today, we already mentioned the Chargers firing their offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi. Tells me that Brandon Staley is going to stay as the head coach because you wouldn't fire the offensive coordinator and then fire the head coach. You would just fire the head coach. So sounds like Brandon Staley is going to be sticking around there, but a different offensive voice and mind there for the Chargers going forward. We'll obviously talk with Easton Stick right around noon about all of that stuff. We'll get his thoughts on it. And then we do have pitchers and catchers getting ready to report, so baseball not too far away, including NDSU baseball as well. We'll get to some of that stuff. Take a quick preview at their season. Hopefully have Tyler Oakes on one of these next couple of weeks as they get ready here. Really in about 4 weeks to get some games going for NDSU baseball. And we will have plenty of NDSU baseball and softball coverage here on Bison 1660 as that year gets going for them, as those seasons get going. But they've started practicing and training for a couple of weeks now, using that indoor practice facility, the NODAC as well, and the nets are coming up. We heard that from Matt Larson yesterday. If you didn't catch our conversation with Matt for the entire second hour yesterday with the athletic director, we will play a couple of those clips later on in the show for you as well. As always, the show today brought to you in part by Men's Hair Company, which is the place Mike has got to go to get a haircut. Shaggy P back there. They're your home team for haircuts, waxing, shaves, beard care, and more. 5 Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo locations to choose from, so they make it nice and convenient for you wherever you're living in the area. And online at menshairco.com. You can schedule an appointment today. You have an appointment, you walk in, you get the haircut. You don't have to wait in a line when you schedule your appointment with Men's Hair Company. Online, menshairco.com. Take a break, come back, and go to the Summit League Shootaround, talking ORU in Kansas City next.
Your home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
I think what makes Proceed win is we're different than the other companies in many ways with our programming, our simplicity, our non-corporate attitudes, and our personal relationship building.
What Proceed is, we bring back the old-fashioned seed buying experience. We're true seedsmen. We care about everything from the sale to the planting to following up afterwards. That's what we're all about, is just trying to bring that experience back to a personal level.
Need seed, think Proceed. proseed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Invest in your community with Epic Companies. Hey, this is Mac. Have you been looking to diversify your portfolio and dive into real estate? We offer multiple types of investing through our mixed-use buildings and entertainment plazas. If you are an accredited investor and interested in hearing more about the investment process and how you can be part of enhancing the quality of life in the area, visit epiccompaniesnd.com to review our investment options. That's epiccompaniesnd.com.
NDSC Safety and Health Conference features keynote speaker 1980 Miracle on Ice goalie Jim Craig. Nearly 100 breakout sessions in person or live streamed, February 21st through the 24th. Register now at ndsc.org.
It's a new year and a great time to remind you that you should have 2 routine dental visits a year. The best way to stop dental issues is to detect them early or stop them from happening in the first place. It's Amanda, and I smile with confidence because of the team at About Smiles Dental. They've been caring for my family's smiles for years. At About Smiles Dental, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. Plan ahead and call now to book your appointments. We love the team at About Smiles Dental, and you will too.
Did you know Churches United serves more than 450 people each and every day? Churches United is here for every neighbor. Churches United is asking for your support this Giving Hearts Day. For more information, visit churches-united.org.
When it's time to find a realtor, word of mouth is important. And Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty is a name Bison Nation says often. Todd has helped everyone from coaches and administrators to broadcasters and former players and their families buy homes in the FM area. So many in Bison Nation trust Todd to buy and sell their homes, and you can too. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Moving the herd, one home at a time.
At Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home, one of the greatest honors I have is to be invited into the life of a family who has called on us during a time of need. It is such a blessing to be a part of a community that genuinely values a life well lived and the importance of honoring that life. Having been born and raised in Fargo and now raising my son here, I have a deeper sense of what it means to be an active member of our community. The bonds we shared, the stories we live, make us who we are. Hanson Runsvold, helping families look to the future with hope.
These days, we're all looking for ways to save some cash. Have you looked at your insurance? Talk to your Nodak Insurance Company agent, because the more you insure with Nodak Insurance, the lower your premiums. Work with one local agent to package your home, autos, or excess liability, everything you care about. Then watch the savings add up. Ask your Nodak Insurance agent how you can save with a multi-line discount. Nodak Insurance Company, agents with answers.
It's the Confident in Me sale at Catalyst Clinical Spa. M-Sculpt, M-Sculpt Neo, M-Tone, M-Cella, and the all-new M-Face. The more package treatments you buy, the more you save on multiple devices. Save 10, 20, or up to 30% off. Friends, this is the best sale Catalyst will have on these non-invasive treatments this year. Book a free consultation and see for yourself how great you can feel and look in 2023. It's the Confident in Me sale. Go to catalystmedicalcenter.com and look under specials.
This is Jory Collins, head women's basketball coach at NDSU.
We're trying to get this program to a point where we can compete for Summit League championships and hopefully play in the in-state tournament. I mean, that's the entire goal.
You are listening to The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Welcome back at it here on The Insiders. A little after 11:30. Rob Hipp, Andy Rickoff, and Shaggy back there behind the production table doing great work as always. And always a lot of fun to talk to friends from around that time of the day on a Tuesday, Summit League Shootaround, as we'll talk men's basketball, and we'll get right into it.
Summit League Shootaround, the Kansas City Roos.
Joined right now, and also, Micah, a first-time guest here on The Insiders. We are joined by Associate Head Coach Joe Esposito with the Roos men's basketball. Joe, how you doing today, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Was that a gong, like on a gong show, or what was that banging right there? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a great thing. That is the gong coming your way to welcome you in, my friend.
It's first-time guest gong.
First-time guest. Well, that's big time. So, hey, I appreciate it, and I'm glad to be on.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you joining us. Just wanted to talk about little Roos basketball here as the Bison men facing Kansas City coming up later this week. And I just wanted to chat with you. How's this team looking this season? What are you seeing? What are some positive takeaways so far?
Well, it's been a up and down at times. We're a team that's really young, 9 freshmen, 9 foreign players. We got the job the end of April, so we started recruiting really in May. And we put together some good pieces, but some really good young pieces. Like we start 3 freshmen and, just a group of guys that are starting to feel, good about themselves at times. And then at other times we kind of fall apart. So it's kind of been up and down. We come out and play really well against Oral Roberts. We had them beat 2 technicals late in the game, which made the difference in the game. And then Max hit the 3 at the buzzer. We played that really well. We really played well against St. Thomas. We beat them up pretty good. And then we faltered, like against Denver. We lost in triple overtime. And Western Illinois this last game. So I would say sometimes we're inconsistent. But when we're playing well, I think we could beat anybody in the league. So hopefully we can get some more consistency as the year goes on.
Joe, when I look at that record 3-3 in the Summit, not vindicative, as you just said, a close game there, as you mentioned about Oral Roberts on the road, losing that one by only 3. And then St. Thomas is a team that I've really kind of kept my eyes on this season. They've kind of had a turnaround here, very victorious there, 81-60, and then losing that close one at Western Illinois, 60-52. You're heading to the Dakotas, of course, facing North Dakota there with the Fighting Sioux on Thursday, and then here at North Dakota State on Saturday. Just what's the mindset heading in against these 2 programs?
Well, both teams are very well coached. Obviously North Dakota hasn't had the win production that they would like at this point, but they're a really good team as well. They got some guys that can really shoot the basketball. And North Dakota State may have the best big man in the league. I mean, I've known that area. My wife's from Roseau, Minnesota, so I've grown up knowing about North Dakota State. As a matter of fact, I was at Angelo State as a head coach when we played North Dakota State, when Greg McDermott was there and Tim Miles was there. So I've got a long history of being in that building. So I love going up there. I think the fan support is fantastic. I love going to those 2 schools. I mean, they're both places that are fun to play at, and it's just a different kind of atmosphere. I can never forget the first time I ever went up there. The guy at the hotel handed me an electrical cord, and I'm like, what is this for? He goes, your car. And I'm like, what is it, electric cars up here?
Yep.
He goes, no, you better warm your block or your car's. I had no idea what he was talking about. New York City kid, that was my first road trip when I was the head coach at Angelo State. So great memories up there. Got a lot of family and friends. My niece goes to North Dakota State. My brother-in-law played hockey there. So, great tradition, and love both of those places, and we're looking forward to going up there.
Well, look at that. Small world after all. Did not know that before we had you on, but your wife, you said your wife, right? Mary from Roseau?
Yeah, Mary's from Roseau, Minnesota. All her brothers play hockey, and our nephew right now plays at University of Minnesota. He's starting center. He's been there a couple years, drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, and I've got another nephew that plays in the pro leagues up there. And I mean, it's incredible. With a name like Esposito, you would think. So when you look at me, you're going to think I'm a football coach.
Yeah.
When you hear my name, you're going to think I'm a hockey coach, and you're going to say to yourself, how in the world did this guy go 36 years in college basketball? So that's always the fun question about Joe Esposito.
I heard a little bit of that Minnesota accent for you on Roseau as well. So well done by you, Joe Esposito.
Yeah, not bad. I throw that in because I did spend 7 years at the University of Minnesota with Tubby Smith.
Yep, exactly.
So it kind of changed me a little bit. So when I do say Minnesota or UFTA, I really fit in.
You betcha.
You betcha you do. Joe Esposito here with us, associate head coach of Kansas City. As you mentioned, Marvin Menzies taking over there as the head coach, and you on the staff as well there in April. And this is your guys' first year on it. What's the overall, the end goal of what you want this Ruse team to look like? Obviously, you're in your first year of putting that plan together, but what's the end goal and the end vision?
Well, the end goal, obviously, is to get to the NCAA tournament and build a program that can sustain winning. There hasn't been a winning tradition here at University of Missouri, Kansas City. They have never been to the NCAA tournament, never won a conference championship, and who better than Marvin Menzies to lead the program? I mean, when you look at his record against this team, even when he was in the WAC conference, and what he did at New Mexico State, and how he can compete for championships, there's no better hire. So I feel like we're going in the right direction. This is a year, obviously, a building year, and a year that we're trying to get our team to be playing the best we can come the tournament. That's all that matters. There's no at-large bid looking for, or there's nothing else except for the end picture and the end result of how do we get to play the best at the time that means most. So that's what we're shooting for this year. And as we build our program around good players, and we use the Bourne connection as a big piece of our recruiting, which we've done. And as you'll see, our roster is full of foreign guys. And it's been a good mixture so far. And as soon as we, start playing the way we're capable of playing, we're going to be hard to beat.
And yeah, you guys got plenty of scores. I see 3 players scoring in double figures for you. You've got obviously a whole bunch of new players on staff, or not on staff, on the roster for you this year. Just who are the guys that are standing out? Who are the playmakers when Kansas City's playing well, when you guys are playing the type of basketball you want? Who's standing out to you?
Well, Raekwon and Shamari Allen are our two main guys, our 2 guards. Both have good experience. Both, have played college basketball, so they're both really good players for us. And Anderson Kopp, who hasn't played, he broke his wrist back in the Indiana State game. He's coming off of an injury, just got his cast off, so he's going to be up and ready to go here shortly. So, when he gets back, I think we're going to be a different-looking team. He's a real good player for us as well with a lot of experience. But Shamari and Ray are our 2 go-tos. They're real good, and we've really seen after Allen was hurt this week, our 4-man, Jeff Nagunda, who is our 5-man, has really turned into a different player in the last 2 games. 33 rebounds last 2 games, playing real physical, real solid, learning how to play without fouling, and that's really been a positive too. So as I say, as the season's going on, we're seeing that we're getting better, and hopefully we will continue that as we push towards the tournament.
All right. Well, hey, Joe, it's great to have you, and one of the most exciting things when I was going through your bio, Angelo State, I had a lot of friends. What year did you leave Angelo State after all the success you had there?
Oh, I think it was like 2004, maybe.
Okay. I had some friends, Wayne Williams, Matt Harden. They came from Georgetown, Texas high school and played a little ball in that area.
So Matt Harden's brother, Justin Harden. Yeah, Justin Harden played for me, his older brother, and then I signed Matt and Dustin Patton. Both from
I know
the same
those guys.
high school team. Yeah, so Matt we call Buck. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys call him Buck.
We did in high school, yep.
Yeah, good family friends of mine, and both those guys played for me. So that was, awesome. Good people. I enjoyed going to Georgetown and visiting those guys.
Got connections with Roseau, Minnesota,
That's
connections
awesome.
with our Texas guy, Rob Pippen. He's at University of Missouri, Kansas City. You're all over the place, Joe. You really are. Well done.
You know what that means? It's probably time to retire. I'm getting old.
You said it, not us.
No, it's been a great run, and just being and just having the opportunity to be at Kansas City. I couldn't be happier, and be with Marvin, who I've known for 30 years. We've always dreamed about working together, and I really thought I was going to retire and take a high school job in Phoenix, which I was doing last year, and he talked me out of it, and here I am, and it's been fun, and now I'm excited about being in this league because of my past with being at University of Minnesota and knowing the Dakotas and the South Dakotas and family and friends, and we're looking forward. I think I'm using 30 tickets at both of those games this week.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on with us, and see you there on Saturday inside the Shack.
Look forward to meeting you guys. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
The Oral Roberts Golden Eagles.
And we bring on the voice of Oral Roberts, one Adam Hildebrandt, also nice enough to give us some time on the Summit League Shootaround. Adam, great to have you on. Do you have any connections to Roseau, Minnesota, or the state of Texas?
I have 3 sisters that live in the state of Texas. I'm not familiar with Roseville, Minnesota.
Okay.
But Texas, I'm pretty familiar with.
That's okay. We can still have a very good conversation with you, even without the Roseau, Minnesota, and hockey connection that Joe Esposito unexpectedly had. That was an awesome conversation with him. But this Oral Roberts men's team is playing really well, Adam. I don't need to tell you that. This team is not only playing well and winning games, but they're winning them convincingly and winning them in style. And it's not just with Max Asmus either. He's had some games where he's been great, don't get me wrong, but he's also had some games where he's 10 to 13 points and other players are in the 20s. So it seems like a complete team.
Yeah, it's definitely more well-rounded than we saw last year, and as you mentioned, Max is certainly capable of going out and getting 30-some-odd on any given night. We've seen him do that a couple times in the last couple of weeks, but when teams do something like St. Thomas did the other night and just hard hedge everything and force him to give up the basketball. He's absolutely capable of distributing, and he's got a lot of pieces around him right now that are all confident and playing well, and utilizing different skill sets too. It's a team that we knew would shoot the three ball well, but we're seeing them scoring around the rim better this year. Carlos Jurgens and Kareem Thompson, their ability in the middle game has come up well also. So they're scoring it in a lot of different ways, and the defense is starting to follow in step as well, although there's a little more room to grow there.
Adam, you talk about shooting the three ball well, and you look at 7'5" Connor Vanover, and a very interesting player that I've enjoyed watching on video and looking forward to seeing him in person on Thursday. Shoots 33% from beyond the arc. What are you liking from him? Just his ability to move. He's been fun to watch.
Well, the first thing is when he sets a screen, you have to work to get around him because he's so just big and tall, and his frame is naturally wider because he is so big, and so he's a good screen setter. And we've seen him obviously make some threes. Actually, he's probably capable of shooting them even a little better than he has so far this year. But what I've really liked about him recently is he's gotten into more of a rhythm on the pick and roll side as well. Early on, we saw some turnovers where either the feed wasn't quite where he was expecting it to be, or the timing wasn't quite right. And of course, when you're coming in as a transfer and playing with a new team, that'll take some time. They seem to have found their rhythm in that a little bit more, where some of those turnovers are turning into easy looks. And so that part of his game coming along has added a second layer, and I think that's really helping this offense out as well.
In conference play, just been obviously really, really good. And you've had a lot of games at home, but been impressive on the road, too. A couple of road wins at Omaha and Denver back at the end of December. And now it's really the second road test when you get to NDSU on Thursday, then UND up in Grand Forks on Saturday. How has this team handled road venues overall this season when you just compare it home to away?
Yeah, they've handled the venues very well. Haven't come out with the win every time, but in terms of going into tough environments, that's really not been a major issue. I haven't felt like they've been shaken in many moments, and they've put themselves in as tough environment as they could find. I mean, going to Houston and New Mexico, certainly going and playing at the Pit, but just a little over 10 days ago now. Those are environments that are really tough to go and play in, and you can see if a team gets rattled in a place like that. And they held their cool. Maybe didn't play their best the entire time in some of those environments, but it never seemed like the moment or the crowd was too big for them at any given point. So they've tested themselves in that way, and part of the reason of doing that was to go to places like Fargo and Brookings, and then of course play in what effectively amounts to a road environment for ORU in the Summit League tournament up in Sioux Falls. So they seem to have taken the steps to prepare themselves, and now obviously this is going to be one of the tougher road trips of the year coming up to Fargo and Grand Forks.
One game going back, and it was a close victory there versus Kansas City. I wanted to bring that up just because, of course, NDSU's playing Kansas City as well this week, 74-71 victory there. What were some of the struggles in that ball game?
Well, Kansas City, first of all, is a really good defensive team. They have not lost that mantra at all, even with the coaching change. But I think that Kansas City has proven that they are a better team than many maybe kind of thought coming in. And I don't know that anybody thought that they were necessarily going to be poor, but there were just so many question marks. Then you're seeing a team with a not only a new coaching staff, but a lot of new faces gel into a very, very competitive ball club. So they're going to be very physical. They're going to limit possessions. I think they were averaging about 8 fewer possessions per game than ORU was when we went into that contest. And so they're going to slow it down a little bit, but they are going to grind you out. They're going to be physical, and they're showing the capability to score the ball more consistently than maybe they did early on in the season. So they're starting to develop into a really nice group.
We talk a lot about Max Asmus and Connor Vanover, and rightfully so, because those two are really, really good at them. But it seems like Carlos Jurgens and Deshane Weaver have been there for about 7 years, so they've been there for a while. But also really good players, and they offer a lot of length at 6'5" and 6'7", and Kareem Thompson's been there for a long time, too. Some of those role players have done a very good job, and it seems like when ORU made that deep run a couple of years back in the NCAA tournament, those guys were just as big of a part as Max Asmus was. What have you seen in those guys' plays, and how do they continue to get better?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that core group is still together from that tournament run, especially with the way the transfer portal is today and all that kind of stuff. But, Carlos, for a long time, many of his career highs were in the NCAA tournament against Ohio State and Florida. He has continued to add to his game. really is good with backing down other guards and distributing from the middle of the floor or perhaps in the post as well if he can get down there. So he's got some size that he's able to utilize. Kareem Thompson just seems to do everything well. There will be games that he doesn't score the basketball, but has 8 rebounds and 6 assists, or sometimes he'll go out and get 10 or 12 and still has 3 or 4 assists and 5 or 6 boards. So he's a lot more than just scoring the ball, and he's shown that over the course of the year. And then Deshang Weaver, lengthy, athletic, top of the square athlete, and he's a guy who if he sees that first one go in, he can really go off. So he's kind of more plays in spurts, especially with Patrick Wamba. They fill the same role quite a bit in terms of the position they play. So he doesn't have as many extended minutes on the floor depending on the matchup, but is really a guy who could go out and get buckets and theoretically get to some rebounds as well when he's in the game. So they all have continued to settle into their roles, and that's part of the reason this team has been able to go on the road and play pretty well is when you've got that kind of experience that have played together for that length of time, it's easier to not get rattled in those road environments.
It's kind of turned into a nice little budding rivalry, NDSU and Oral Roberts, with a lot of good matchups in the Summit League tournament, and looking forward to a good one there on Thursday night inside the Shield Center. Adam Hildebrandt, the voice of ORU, nice enough to give us some time. Adam, always appreciate our conversation, sir. Best of luck to you, the family, and see you up here on Thursday as well.
Yeah, we'll see you on Thursday. I saw it's going to be almost close to above freezing, so I appreciate you saving the warm weather for our trip.
Just saving a little bit of it for you. Thanks, Adam.
You bet.
There's Adam Hildebrandt, and our Summit League Shootaround brought to you, of course, by Todd Cattermas, the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics, but also Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. When it's time to be moved, Todd Cattermas is here to assist you with all your real estate needs. Call 701-371-4234 or stop by 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time. Let's take a break, come back, wrap up hour number 1 of the program for you next.
North Dakota State football plays here. Bison 1660.
About a month ago, we had some unexpected plumbing issues. We called Valley Service Mechanical in a panic and were pleasantly surprised with the professional that came to our rescue. He took the time to explain the issues to us, and you could really tell he enjoyed what he was doing and the pride he had representing Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
When we are faced with the reality of winter driving, make sure you have peace of mind that your vehicle is running in top condition when you get your service done by the pros at Schumacher Goodyear. Dangerous conditions during the winter is no time to realize your vehicle's in need of repair. Get those repairs done by the best crew, Schumacher Goodyear on 13th Avenue in Fargo. They've been keeping families safe for decades. Maintaining your vehicle is even more important when bad driving conditions arise. Give yourself the edge with top-rated tires and service from Schumacher Goodyear. SchumacherSE.com.
Start building your career at Doosan Bobcat in Gwinner today. Bobcat has current openings for assemblers and material handlers. Bobcat Gwinner offers competitive pay, great benefits, opportunities for long-term growth, and a $5,000 relocation bonus for qualified candidates. Walk-in interviews will take place Wednesday, January 18th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Springs Golf Course located at 565 Bogey Road in Gwinner. For more information, visit bobcat.com/now-hiring.
We love our pets, yet what they do to our carpet is frightening. Pets go outside and inside many times each day, and their paws carry in things you don't want to think about. Old dogs, sick dogs, excited dogs, they all have accidents. Plus, the pet dander settles in your carpet. Steamatic will clean and sanitize your carpet and do it safely for your pets and family. Call Steamatic today.
Steamatic, call 232-4707.
You hear that? The herd is headed your way. You're hearing from the insiders right here on Bison 1660.
Great conversations there on the Summit League Shootaround in our last segment. Didn't know we'd get talking about Roseau, Minnesota, and University of Minnesota college hockey, but we did. And have Esposito on again.
And former classmates of mine all the way back in Georgetown, Texas, that Esposito knows.
Yeah, Joe Esposito.
Love it.
By the way, I know we talk a lot about that ORU game because it's a big game, right? It's the team that's in the top of the Summit League. I remember last season where ORU came to Fargo, got the victory against them, and that was huge. It was massive. You had a little bit of extracurriculars at the final buzzer too, but it was amazing environment. It was rocking, and got the victory over a very good ORU team. And it kind of came and laid an egg the next game against Kansas City. So that game against Kansas City is by no means an easy game. I know the record looks a lot worse than ORU's, but that Kansas City team has always played tough. They always got big physical players, and that's not a gimme by any means there inside the shack on Saturday.
No, and when we were talking about Kansas City and just how they matched up against St. Thomas in a school that I've had my eye on, and I mention it all the time, but some news a little bit earlier, St. Thomas announcing a $75 million gift from Lee and Penny Anderson, building an on-campus arena for basketball and hockey. The target for that opening fall of 2025, so they are investing heavily now in that basketball program along with hockey.
Yeah, record-setting $75 million gift there to the University of St. Thomas. There's some Summit League news for you. And I've said this all along. I mean, St. Thomas makes the transition up. The one thing that kind of restricts them a little bit is space, because you're in St. Paul. It's not like you have a giant field of open ground you can just go build stadiums on. So you got to find space. You got to find places to build new facilities. If you have to build them where your old ones are, that's also an option for you. But this looks like an awesome multi-use facility. They have college hockey too. That's going to be a thing for them. So great multi-use center building there. Not the only program in the country that's going to have a hockey arena that's also a basketball arena. I think it works well and it looks really good. And they need it. They're Schuneker Arena is a D3 arena. Let's call it what it is, and that was fine for where they were. But you're going to be at the D1 level and trying to continue to recruit at a high level. You need bigger and better facilities, and they definitely have the alumni base. I am well aware of the alumni base for St. Thomas. A lot of lawyers and other professionals that have a lot of money down in that area, and they're going to get the facilities going. I don't have any worries about that, and I think it's a good addition overall to the Summit League. They're going to add. They already have added some pretty good competition, and this looks like a really good facility for them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because on the Summit League, it builds them up, continues to improve and make enhancements, and it just makes the quality of the Summit even better. I like this, and I like what I'm going to see. But you know what I like more of? I like men's and women's basketball here at NDSU, Andy.
Exactly, and getting some wins over St. Thomas. That's the plan as this season goes on. Here with you inside our Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol produces 175 million gallons of ethanol per year and roughly 400 tons of livestock feed per year. You can learn more and join their growing team online at theraldsonethanol.com. Hour number 2, let's talk some NFL. Let's talk some Chargers with former Bison, current Chargers quarterback Easton Stick. About as tough as it gets for the end of the season there for the Chargers. We'll rip that Band-Aid off. We'll talk with Easton about the blown lead for the Chargers, the end to a season, new offensive coordinator, and what the future looks like for Easton in the NFL. A lot of decisions to be made over this offseason for Easton and for the Chargers. Talk about that when we start off hour number 2 next.
Why should you put your trust into Nutrisource Pet Foods? It's simple. They understand the importance of community, producing healthy pet foods since 1964 in the heart of Perham, Minnesota. Nutrisource Pet Foods controls every step of the process, from the farm to the bowl. Your dog will love their food, treats, and their new topper, Kombucha, known for supporting local businesses by featuring their products in independent pet stores. Find a retailer near you at NutrisourcePetFoods.com.
Experience is what builds the future of glass at Cardinal IG in Fargo. Cardinal IG is leading the industry in the development of superior glass for the residential window industry. Their highly motivated and talented employees design and manufacture the best glass in the industry. This January, Cardinal IG would like to say thank you to Araz Khalid, who is celebrating 10 years, and to Cyril Dermian and Teresa Arap, who are celebrating their first year at Cardinal IG. To view open positions or to apply, visit CardinalFargo.com.
Rick Electric wants to say thanks for a great 2022 and looks forward to serving you and all new customers in the new year. Plus, Rick Electric wants to say thanks for voting them the best electrical contractor in the Red River Valley. Since 1964, Rick Electric has been serving homeowners and businesses with troubleshooting, repairs, new construction, and over a dozen projects in my home. Rick Electric. Schedule online or request an estimate at rickelectric.com. MinnesotaWarehouse.com.
Hi, Chad here from Minnesota Warehouse Furniture and Mattress, located in the heart of Lakes Country. We're the land of over 10,000 sleeps. We have helped our customers and their families rest easy for over 40 years, which is why year after year we've been voted the Lakes Country's best place to buy a mattress. At Minnesota Warehouse Furniture and Mattress, you get the best value on name brand mattresses and the best service. We have a large assortment of mattresses, including memory foam and hybrids. It's worth the drive to Minnesota Warehouse Furniture and Mattress, located in Earhart, Minnesota. No frills, just big savings so you can rest easy.
Corwin Public Wholesale is conducting a special used vehicle buyback. Any used car, truck, or SUV, we will buy it. Trying to trade your vehicle and not getting what it's worth? We will buy it. Need some extra cash? We will buy it. Whether it's worth $500,000 or $50,000, we will buy it. We want to buy your vehicle. Corwin Public Wholesale, right on the price, right on the I-29 frontage road, Fargo.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? Ugh, what am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is Dominican Republic. Fly from Minneapolis and stay 7 nights all-inclusive at the Margaritaville Island Reserve Cap Cana Wave Resort, February 16th through the 23rd for $22.75 per person. Call Travel at 492-5000 or online at travelgroup.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
The LA Chargers have announced that they have fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and quarterbacks coach Shane Day. The Cleveland Browns are making moves as well. They're hiring Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator. Last night in the NFL, the Cowboys dominated and eliminated the Buccaneers, snapping an 8-game road playoffs losing streak. During the fourth quarter, wide receiver Russell Gage was carted off the field and was hospitalized with a concussion. The Buccaneers announced today that Gage has movement in all his extremities and will continue to undergo additional testing today. The NFL has advised the Bills and the Chiefs to start selling tickets for the potential neutral site AFC Championship game. Season ticket holders for both teams who opted in to purchase AFC Championship game tickets will have first priority beginning tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. All other fans can participate in the pre-sale Friday at 10 a.m. I'm Monty Bolaños.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders.
The Insiders. Insiders.
Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
Hour number 2 of the program rolling right along for you here on the Insiders. Andy Rickoff, Rob Hipp, and Mike Gabindi with you inside our Thorold's and Ethanol Broadcast Center. The NFL playoffs, round number 1, wrapping up last night as the Dallas Cowboys get a dominant win over the Buccaneers. We've already given Rob his segment to gloat. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Recheck our poll question. Poll question's up at Bison 1660. Do you think Tom Brady is going to A, retire, or B, come back for one more crack at it, one more year in the NFL for Tom Brady? Sounded like he was at least saying goodbye to Tampa Bay last night in the post-game press conference, but I can't wait to talk about that for the next 4 months. It's going to be phenomenal as we continue to talk about that, I'm sure, at least for the next 3, maybe 4 months whenever Tom makes that decision. I do think the decision he makes is going to be a final one, probably no wishy-washy on it this time around. But right now, let's start off hour number 2, brought to you, of course, by the great team at Men's Hair Company, The Spirit Shop, and Red River Commodities. For the final time this year, we bring on the former Bison quarterback and current Chargers quarterback Easton Stick into the program on our Epic Companies hotline. Easton, great to have you on, sir. Appreciate these conversations all year. Hard to think it's going to be our last one of these, though, man.
Yeah, time flies, man, and seasons go by quick. But I'm really appreciative you guys letting me come on every week and kind of explain what's going on out here and let me stay involved with what you guys got going on and with Bison football. So, football season's coming to an end. It's always sad.
We've always loved it. Every single week having these conversations with you, so we appreciate your time as well. Let's just dive right into it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off for you, Easton. 27-0, you had the lead. Everything was going right? I mean, you got the 5 turnovers. You guys were living well there on the road and feeling good. We all know what happened. They score there at the end of the first half, make it 27-7, and then the comeback for the Jaguars. Just take us through your mindset as that game was going on and then at the end of it.
Yeah, it was really, really unfortunate. It's one that I think is going to hurt for a really long time for everyone that was involved in it. And we were playing a good team, and like you said, had an opportunity there. The defense did a really good job forcing 4 turnovers early, and we got points on all of them. I had to settle for a few field goals, and like you said, made it it was 27-7 at half, and probably could have been and should have been bigger, and didn't take full advantage of some of those opportunities. And they got good players and found a way to kind of get going there on offense in the second half, and we struggled to run it and really sustain drives. And when we did, we kicked a field goal early in the third quarter, missed one, in the fourth quarter, that could have helped, but had a few punts in there and just didn't score touchdowns. And so the margin of error is really, really small. And we just unfortunately didn't do enough. And so it hurts, and it's going to hurt for a while.
Yeah, that one's one that's going to sting for a bit, especially knowing how close you guys were and how you probably should have been able to close that one out. My thought was at halftime when you had that 27-0 lead and you had to settle for that one field goal that makes it 27-0 instead of maybe 30-0, and they get the touchdown at the end of that first half, makes it 27-7. And still, it's a 20-point lead. You had a very, very good first half, but just that touchdown at the end made you think like, man, it feels like the Chargers should be up by more here. What were you guys thinking about at halftime? What were the conversations in that halftime locker room?
Yeah, well, we were getting the ball coming out of half. We won the toss in the third, and so we knew we were getting it coming out. And, I think guys were confident and were excited and understood that, we needed to go score immediately. And like you said, it was a 20-point lead. We had a chance to, score 7 points there and make it a 4-score game. That would have been huge. And really probably ends it, if it's 4 scores. But we weren't able to do that, and they go down and score and do a good job of getting themselves back in it. And then you're in a dogfight, and that atmosphere was a lot of fun. It was really loud, and they were into it and having fun. And it just kind of got away from us at the end and didn't make enough plays. But I don't think we ever felt like we were going to lose the game. I felt like we were confident in it the whole time, and even down to the end until they're lining up for that field goal. I think we felt pretty good. It's just, it just kind of slipped away.
Easton, been fun talking to you all season. I wanted to ask, whenever you go back, you look at this game, the season's over, and we wanted to win. You wanted to win, obviously, but how do you kind of now put a bow on that, and what does that process look like as you head into the offseason? How do you move on from that game, and how do the coaching staff and you kind of close all that up and look ahead?
Yeah, well, it's layered, and I think it takes some time for sure. We got back early Sunday morning at about 5 or 6 in the morning, and we're in there later that morning or early afternoon and had the last team meeting, and guys go do physicals and kind of wrap everything up that way. You have exit meetings with coaches and do all that, and then so it's a few day process. I'm sure you guys saw we've made changes with the coaching staff already, and so all that stuff is hard. It just losing the way you do, and then losing some coaches and understanding. The locker room's never the same, and that's part of it. But, a lot of families get affected by all this stuff, and so you're just aware of that. And, it'll take, I'm sure, a few weeks and for guys to kind of really let it all settle down and get into it. And then, then you move on and you start the off season. But until then, I think there's just a lot of conversations about, what could have done differently throughout the year. And, that's the story for everybody, though. If you're not winning it at the end, you're hurting for a while.
Easton Stick here with us, and you mentioned it. They already got some coaching changes there. Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, and a few other of the offensive staff kind of going out here, and you've been around. You know this is a business. You've been through some coordinator changes, some head coaching changes as well in your short career here in the NFL. What's it like going through this one and knowing that you're going to have a different guy kind of calling the plays and maybe a whole different offensive scheme next year?
Yeah, well, it's tough. Joe and Shane are both really good coaches. They're great people. They have awesome families, and I really, really enjoyed my time the last 2 years here with those guys, and had close relationships with both of them. And so it's unfortunate, but like you said, it's just part of it, and you understand that. Unfortunately, that it is what it is, and so wish them the best. I've enjoyed my time, and I'm in a similar position. I'll be a free agent this off season, and so kind of all up in the air right now. And I think when you sit back and you look at it now, it's a lot, but it's just part of it. And like you said, we'll kind of get away for a few weeks and then get back into the off season and see what happens moving forward. But I certainly enjoyed my time with them.
Easton, I wanted to bring it up a notch and just ask you throughout this season, what are some of the biggest positive takeaways that you can take from this as the Chargers move on and as you move on?
Yeah, I think as an organization, I think steps were made in the right direction. Didn't end how we wanted it, and felt like we had more to give there probably at the end. But I think the way we handled the season was pretty impressive. At a time, we were 6-6. You're out, an All-Pro left tackle, 2 All-Pro receivers, an All-Pro corner, and some Pro Bowl caliber defensive linemen. The list goes on and on. Joey Bosa. There were a lot of things going on that could have derailed the season, and I think Coach Staley and the leaders on our team did a really good job of just kind of holding it together and finding a way for us to go out and win football games, and we did, and won 4 in a row when we had to get into the playoffs. And so I think there are a lot of good things that happened, and I think you saw, Justin Herbert become really a franchise quarterback and solidify, his place as far as a leader and someone that can lead a franchise. And that was really cool for me to be a part of, just watching him grow and take the next step in his career. So I got a ton of fond memories from this season and really my 4 years with the Chargers. And so it's been a lot of fun.
And Easton Stick here with us. Our conversations all year long with Easton have been brought to you by Red River Commodities, Men's Hair Company, and the Spirit Shop. And you mentioned that you're a free agent after this year, and I believe it's the same thing for Chase Daniel too, the other quarterback in that room other than Justin Herbert with you. Just I know you love the Chargers. I know you love that organization. You definitely love the weather compared to what you had up here in Fargo. But for you, I'm sure you want a spot to prove that you can at least be a backup in this league, and obviously you want to keep playing the great game that you've been playing for a long time. So when you're thinking about your options and thinking about what you want, I know you'll be talking with your agent about this stuff, but kind of what's that thought process for you for that next step?
Yeah, there's certainly going to be a lot to reflect on, and like you said, that all that stuff happened, after the combine in March, and so we've got some time to kind of think and find out, what's really important and what I value. And so we'll take some time. We'll get away. I'll talk to people that I trust and care about, and we'll kind of see what happens. But like you said, I've really loved my time with the Chargers. I'm really grateful that they selected me in 2019, and I've had a chance to play with some great quarterback rooms, some awesome coaches, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm appreciative of the Spanos family and Mr. Telesco for sticking up for me and let me be a part of this thing. And so yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I want a chance to play and feel strongly that I can contribute somewhere, and we'll just kind of see what that looks like. But I'm certainly really grateful of the opportunity that I've had the last 4 years.
Especially on that conversation, when you look around the league, this year more than any year, it seems like more backup quarterbacks have gotten in, whether it be for injuries or other reasons. It just seems like more of them gotten in, and the league's gone a lot younger at that quarterback spot. So do you look for a spot where you can really compete for that starting job? Or, if the Chargers wanted you back, knowing you'd be a backup, would you look at something like that?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think, it really was, I think, the most quarterbacks that have ever started a game in a season. I don't know what the number ended up being, but upper 60s, I think, of the amount of quarterbacks that started. So it really was kind of a crazy year for that way. And that's kind of how it works. You never know when an opportunity is going to come, but you got to be ready for it. So we'll see. But I don't know. For me, I think there will be a lot of things that you factor into it. I've been fortunate and been really a part of awesome quarterback rooms. Really my whole career, going back to NDSU. And I'm grateful for that, and I definitely don't take that for granted, because it's not like that, everywhere, and that's a tough position to play. It's a tough room to be a part of, and when you're all in it together and you're helping each other and pulling for each other, it certainly makes it a lot easier. And so that'll be a part of it. The coaching staff and the situation is certainly a part of it. You want to be a part of a team that is competitive and is trying to win. And selfishly, like you talked about, I'd love a chance to play. I really would. And it's something I feel strongly about, and it's my ability to be able to go out there and compete and win games. And so we'll see what kind of the situations end up looking like and the opportunities that I have. But I've been grateful for my time here, and looking forward to what's next.
Easton, I'll tell you one thing. I haven't had the privilege to meet you in person, but it's been an honor to get to know you over the phone through these interviews this season. And there is one thing that I want to say is character speaks a lot, almost everything about a person. You're a man of high character, integrity, and I'm not just saying this. This was on my heart, and I wanted to tell you that you're already in the NFL, but I truly believe the best is yet to come for you, young man. So you keep your head up, keep on fighting, and you always know Bison Nation has got your back, and I truly believe that. I think there's going to be some great things that are coming your way, Easton.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. That means a lot. And, like you said, it's such a blessing to be able to shoot. I'm, still playing this game. I've played this game, my whole life. And to get a chance to be a part of it, whatever it looks like, means the world to me. And, I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. And so there are definitely days that are harder than others. You wish you were out there and wish you were getting a chance to compete and all those things. But, man, I'm grateful for the opportunities, and like you said, the best is yet to come for sure. And if I get to keep playing this game, man, things are going well. So I appreciate you guys letting me be on, and I appreciate the words for sure. Thank you.
I'm just going to throw this out, Easton. Obviously, we hope the playing thing works out, but there is an opening at defensive coordinator here at NDSU, and I've already seen Kyle Emanuel's name floated out. So you know what makes a defense successful. What about defensive coordinator at NDSU, huh?
Well, we'll leave that to Coach N. But I can assure you there are plenty of people more qualified. I have plenty of teammates such as Kyle that would be great in that position, much better than I would. So cool deal for Coach Braun though, for sure, to get a chance with an opportunity like that in the Big Ten. And I don't know, it's always bittersweet when you see guys leave the program, good coaches especially, but it's cool to know that I think it shows that people respect NDSU and the program that we have, and so happy for him, and shoot, whoever gets the opportunity to lead Code Green, man, that's a tough to find a better gig. So looking forward to see what's next.
A pretty good job someone's going to be getting right there. You got a good job as well there in the NFL. I appreciate these conversations every single week, Easton. I know some were good, some were bad, but you always gave us time, and I really do appreciate that. And thanks for connecting here with Bison Nation and giving us a little insight into your life in the NFL and also your memories here at NDSU. We'll make sure we stay in touch with you, man, and best of luck here during the offseason.
Yeah, all right, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
There he goes, Easton Stick, former quarterback here at NDSU. And as of right now, Chargers quarterback, but who knows? I mean, this offseason could be full of a lot of things, a lot of changes for him, and I completely agree. And he should want to play. That you want that mentality from somebody, but he wants to find a spot where he has a chance to go out there and at least compete for something, and I think he's earned that right. He's stuck around the Chargers here for a little while. They've kept him on the active roster for a reason. They knew someone would take him off the practice squad, and not that there's going to be this massive bidding war, But I think there's going to be multiple teams that say he's a free agent. That's someone we think can help our program, help our team, and I think he's going to find himself a spot out there.
I agree, Mark. I like Mark's message coming in. He said, breaking news. He said, I want Easton as the new starting quarterback in Green Bay.
That probably won't happen.
But we like it.
I like it.
Like the thought.
I like the thought. Him and Christian Watson are great. That would make my life just living hell. Let's be real. It's already tough enough. I love Christian, and it was a perfect year for me. Christian was really good. Everyone loves him. I think he's got a very bright future, and the Packers didn't have the team success. But if Easton's there, my life would be so
just
difficult.
Get Easton there. Let's get Cody Malk over there. Just to spring the whole crew.
Let's put them all on the Eagles instead, just to make life that much more difficult for Rob Hipp.
Put them on the Cowboys, man. Yeah. We'll be flying high.
But wish the best there for Easton. If he can land in a spot where he has a real opportunity to be a starter, or for sure an opportunity to be the backup. I think that's been the thing the last couple of years is probably would have been the backup, and then they bring in Chase Daniel, and Chase got that reputation around the league as a very good quality backup, and he was. He's a free agent, too. I mean, the Chargers could decide, we really like Easton. We've liked having him around this franchise for a long time. Chase Daniel's like 37, 38. He's probably done. We'll just go to Easton. That could be the case, and I don't know for sure if Easton would say yes or no to that. Didn't really give us a straight answer there, but I think he'd be attracted to a position of, okay, I know I'm the backup, and then you're one injury away from anything happening at that point and becoming a guy that can be counted on to get some wins. But I think he also wants a spot where he can go in, and there's no surefire, absolute 100% starting quarterback, I think is also attractive there to Easton. Before we take a break, let's go to John in West Fargo, quickly calling in, has a question on Easton Stick. John, you're here with us on the Insiders.
Yeah, excellent interview with Easton Stick. You know what? I remember Chris Kleiman just singing the praises of Easton as the smartest guy, put more time into the film room, on and on and on, and like Rob Hipp got the feeling as well. He's just a man of tremendous character. I wonder if Chris Kleiman's keeping his eye on him for his staff at some point. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. And how many? So, two questions. So how many years does it take till you are a part of the NFL's retirement system? Is it like 5 years, something like that? And my second question is, what's with Jabril Cox? Is he playing for the Cowboys? Is he on the practice school? I looked for him in the game last night, Monday night, and couldn't see him at all. What do you guys know about that? And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, John. Appreciate the call right there. With the health insurance and everything, I think it's different for a couple of things. There's health insurance. There's also like the plan of where you just kind of get a little bit of money every single the pension plan. I think they're a little bit different.
Pension's 3 years.
Pension's 3. I think health is 4, if I remember correct. I've talked about this with Kyle Emanuel sometimes before. We can get his thoughts on it too, but I think it's at least 3 or 4. And Easton's been in the league now for 3 years, so that's good for him. And you have another year coming up here. So
a quick memoir from the NFLPA.com. You need at least 2 credited seasons to be eligible for a severance payment. Severance is paid as a lump sum post-retirement check. You will receive the payment on the quarter end date following 1 full year without any NFL contract activity.
And that's just
I'm
severance.
guessing that you just have to be on the active roster, which Easton's been on the active roster. You don't have to be active for game days, I would think. But I don't know what the stipulations are there.
Even practice squad guys have NFL contracts, so
correct.
You don't even have to be active roster.
Okay, well then he's good. Then you're good. He's in a good spot no matter what. He's been fine there, stuck around the league, and been good enough to stick around for a couple of years here and be on active roster as well, not even on a practice squad. So that's all good for Easton, and obviously he's in a good spot there. Hopefully he finds somewhere where he can compete and legitimately contribute and be. And he's contributed these last couple of years, but I know for Easton, he's a competitor. He wants a chance to, on a Sunday, you're suited up. And again, anything can happen. One play, one mistake, and all of a sudden you're starting a game or you're playing big minutes in a game. And then at that point, you can prove that I can win games. And if you go in, look like the Nick Mullins, the Gardner Minshews, the Chase Daniels, you prove like in 2 games you can win a game and you can survive, or team can survive with you. Look at Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is going to make a bunch of money because he went in for the Cowboys, and they go 5-1 with him as the starting quarterback when Dak was hurt. Like you've made yourself a really good living then at that point.
Go back to Tony Romo. I mean, he was there, and he was on the practice squad with the Cowboys, and Bill Parcells believed in him, saw something in him, and then Drew Bledsoe starts having bad games, and all of a sudden Tony Romo's the guy, throws an interception, has a horrible game, but you know what? After that, he was the guy, and he became the guy.
Yeah, it can happen. It can happen for Easton, too. Just got to see where he lands this offseason. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Plenty more to get to. We will touch on some of the other things John mentioned there, and also some conversation on these basketball games coming up for NDSU men's and women's basketball when we come back on the Insiders.
This is the Insiders on your exclusive home for North Dakota State Athletics, Bison 1660.
Hey, business owners, you have your banker, you have your insurance guy, but do you have your door guy? Now you do. DavTech Window Services also specializes in commercial door and window repair and replacement. DavTech is proud to be known for their excellent commercial services as on the NDSU campus. Choose the door and window experts that will deliver top-rated products as well as the experienced technicians that do it right the first time. A decade of service with a century of experience. Online at DavTechWindowServices.com. That's DavTechWindowServices.com.
Did you know hyperbaric oxygen can decrease inflammation and speed up your healing process dramatically? I'm Menley with Fargo's first hyperbaric oxygen center, Healing with Hyperbarics, conveniently located off 45th Street. We are celebrating 4 years in Fargo, and as the experts in treating concussions, brain injuries, sports injuries, and post-COVID symptoms, we welcome you to find out how we can help you heal. We have an FDA-approved device to diagnose concussions and can treat the same day to get you back to feeling better faster. Find out how we can help you at healingwithhyperbarics.com.
Rice Companies understands that strong buildings and strong communities start with strong connections. They know the importance of every bolt, every beam, and every handshake. Every connection must be strong. When you work with Rice Companies, you're building on more than concrete and steel. You're building on knowledge and expertise with people you can trust. People who value your investment as much as you do. Connect with Rice Companies, your local Butler builder, and experience the difference strong connections can make for your business. Learn more and see career opportunities at ricecompanies.com.
In 1953, Bill Samuels created a simple bourbon, while Margie Samuels worked on her creative vision. A bottle hand-dipped in red wax, wrapped in a hand-cut label, filled with handcrafted bourbon that elevated flavor and remains unchanged as of today. Aromas of woody oak, caramel, and vanilla, with a taste that is sweet and balanced with caramel, vanilla, and fruity essences. Every barrel of Maker's Mark is aged to taste, not time. Maker's Mark, the star of your home bar. Please drink responsibly.
Snow, ice, and below zero temps. Typical Midwest weather, but not so kind to your vehicle. That's why Jiffy Lube of Fargo is here to make sure you have your vehicle in top working condition and ready for these winter roads and temps. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, no appointment needed at any of the 3 locally owned locations. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for 5 decades.
Stop by Gateway Chevrolet and check out their great selection of in-stock Chevy cars and trucks ready for immediate delivery. Take advantage of invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Equinox and invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Silverados only at Gateway Chevrolet. Plus, find out about 2.9% financing on select Chevrolet models. That's right, 2.9% on select Chevrolets and invoice pricing on 2023 Equinox and Silverados at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
This is NDSU head men's basketball coach Dave Richmond, and you're listening to The Insiders on your home for NDSU athletics, Bison 1660.
Welcome back to The Insiders. Rob Hipp alongside Andy Rickoff. Micah Bendy back there. Micah, what was that name again that Andy gave you earlier in the show?
Shaggy P.
Shaggy P. Where did the P come from, by the way?
I think it's based off Swaggy P, which is Nick Young.
Swaggy P to Shaggy P. Nick Young, yeah.
Nick Young in the NBA.
I don't know if he's still playing, but
I don't believe so.
All right.
Maybe overseas.
For like a little bit. It's probably like in China or somewhere like that playing.
You are looking
somewhere overseas.
You are looking shaggy today, again, but you'll get that men's haircut coming up.
Or if he doesn't, we'll just shave it off on the horse cam on Thursday.
Thursday. Start saying, what does Shaggy say? Zoinks? From
from Scooby-Doo?
From Scooby-Doo.
Zoinks.
Zoinks.
And by the way, if you let it, if it grows out any more than what it currently is, instead of using my haircut kit that I bought because of COVID, I'm going to have to pull out the dog trimming kit because it's starting to get a little long there, Micah. So the haircut trimming, I'll have to go to the dog trimming kit. Just letting you know. And I won't clean it either on Thursday.
So as long as the dog doesn't have like fleas or worms.
All right, next discussion.
Yep.
Going on today, many folks out there, look, you may be looking for a job today, and it's so important. I know there's friends out there that are really trying to take care of their families. Maybe you want a career change. Well, today is your day. It is the Hired Job Fair happening starting at 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the Delta Hotel across from Granite City. Bring a copy of your resume. Come dressed to impress. Get out there again today, 1 to 4, by the Job Service of North Dakota. They can help you create your resume. Maybe you don't know how to create a resume, and don't be ashamed of that. Early on in my career, I didn't know what I was doing. I had to reach out to people in the media industry that helped me. Don't be bashful about that. Get out there. Job Service can help you create your resume and offers computers for job searching. You can give them a call, 239-7300 to schedule an appointment. Walk-ins are also welcome. Assistance available from staff in a socially distanced environment, and applicants can also use their office for video interviews if needed. Nextra Energy also, they're hiring for wind technicians, associate wind tech, over 50 businesses, multiple positions available. All of that happening again is the Hired Job Fair, Delta Hotel across from Granite City today, 1 to 4 p.m. Great opportunity for folks to get out there, Andy.
Yeah, of course. So make sure you get out there again, 1 to 4 p.m. today. Hired Job Fair happening there at Delta Hotels here in Fargo. Also, we're giving away another pair of Monster Jam tickets at the end of the show today.
Be there.
Be there for Monster Jam, February 4th inside the Fargo Dome. All you got to do is text the keyword Monster. People have been doing that because we have sent out some Facebook posts about it too, so follow us there on Facebook, Bison1660. But text the keyword Monster to 701-476-1660. We'll pick a winner at the end of the show today for, actually, it's a 4-pack of tickets. Shouldn't be saying pair. It's a 4-pack, family 4-pack of tickets to Monster Jam. You can buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Hey, I didn't want to leave John hanging earlier, too. We were talking about the second part of his question. He had asked about Jabril Cox. He is on the active roster, but he was inactive last night.
Yes,
so that was the latest updates about him.
Still with the Cowboys.
Still there.
The
Nothing
team that
happened.
drafted him. And still upset that the Vikings didn't draft him. They drafted a different quarterback who's no longer in the NFL ahead of Jabril Cox. I'm not salty about that one bit. But speaking of the Cowboys, Jabril Cox still there. That's great. How confident do you feel about that game
100%.
Against the 49ers? 100%?
No, I'm just
can't be the answer. It's not 100. It's also not 0, though, and you should feel confident after a win. We already got you on the prediction board. You're going to be taking an ice bucket challenge if they don't get the victory or when they don't get the victory. But what is the confidence level for the Cowboys versus the Niners?
I don't know. I look at the Cowboys, and I think I'm saying this correctly. I mean, they had the top 5 defense, top 5 offense this year, and I think they were one of only 2 teams to be both in the top 5. Buffalo was the other team. I feel good about Dallas. There's been that inconsistency with Dak Prescott that does concern me. Had a phenomenal game last night, but how is he going to respond? Just like we asked Bison men's basketball head coach Dave Richmond, how do you continue to be successful? How do you not let that get to you? I think that's going to be the key factor in this ball game is how well is Dak going to play. But again, I go back to the rushing attack by Dallas. I look at their offense. Their defense is very well. They're going up against a very talented 49ers team that all the 49ers fans think, hey, this is our year. I think the Cowboys are going to go in and take care of business. I feel good. I feel, if I had to put a percentage to it, 75% is what I feel. And I think that's a good percentage.
Amount.
It's a good hefty amount.
I think we're all waiting on when or even if Brock Purdy has that rookie game. That's what we're waiting for right now, if it happens.
Not going to be Purdy for him.
Oh, well, he's been looking pretty Purdy so far. So
pretty good is what he's been looking
pretty good.
And this is let's be fair here. What Brock Purdy has faced. He came in that game. Was it against the Cardinals?
His first NFL start was Tampa Bay, but he did come in
the game before, which was the
game
Dolphins
before.
Game. Dolphins game. Yep. 35-7, 21-13 versus Seahawks. Was a little up and down there. 37-20 against Washington. Completely dominated there. It was mostly the defense. Like, he's not going to be asked to do a ton. But that overtime game against the Raiders, he had to make some plays. The Raiders put up a lot of points. They put up 34. He had to score points there. He made some tight throws, some big-time plays. Was over 300 yards again passing in their playoff game. I do think some of the stats are a little inflated. There's a lot of run after the catch on a lot of his throws that are, I don't know how people get so wide open, but George Kittle is completely wide open. It's obviously Kyle Shanahan, but you would think other people have good ways to draw up defense too. I thought there was good defensive minds in this league, but during the playoffs, there's been so many open players. I start to wonder how many good defensive minds there really are. But you are waiting for that game, and I'll say this with the teams he's faced. Buccaneers, Seahawks, Commanders, Raiders, Cardinals, and then the Seahawks again in the playoffs here. There's no elite defenses there. The Raiders got a good pass rush.
The Bucks have an okay defense.
Yeah, but it's old in the tooth, and it doesn't have the same punch it did. This Cowboys game, now they got a great line in front of Purdy, which is going to help them out, but the Cowboys defensive line is where I think they can win the game. If I'm going to point to somewhere for you, I think they've got to win it up front. It's a very good offensive line for the 49ers, but you're facing Odigizua and Micah Parsons and Lawrence and all the other guys. You got like 6 guys you rotate through on that defensive line that make opposing offenses have nightmares, especially in the backfield. If you can fluster Brock Purdy and get to him in the pocket and force him to scramble a lot, I don't think anybody's done that yet. He hasn't faced a top-tier defense like he's going to face in the Cowboys, quite honestly.
He's scrambled very, very well. Like, he's very smart with where he scrambles and gets the ball out, and he's made smart decisions so far. But
probably
there's been
more
some
athletic
close
than
ones.
we give him credit for.
There's been some close ones where, like, ooh, that should have been picked off, but it was either dropped or there was a penalty that was on the defense and that took the interception away. So there's been some moments, but it hasn't been for the entire game. So I think a lot of that credit can go to the offensive line, the players around him, the talent around him, and then also Kyle Shanahan as the head coach.
I think it goes back to what can give. And correct me if I'm wrong, 49ers 10-game win streak heading into this matchup to wrap up the season. And then I was just reading some nuggets that came across NFL Communications too. They led the NFL in total defense, 300.6 yards per game allowed, scoring defense, 16.3 allowed. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. They led in point margin, they led in turnover margin. I mean, they lead in a lot of statistical categories. But have they faced a Cowboys team like this before? And they've played some great opponents. And then you mentioned Brock Purdy. Well, he led the NFL in passer rating, 112, tied for his first touchdown passes, 13 over the final 6 weeks of the season. So a lot of momentum, a lot of things you can latch onto, win streaks, Brock Purdy. Something has to give. You can't go on forever. And we'll see if one of those things snaps in this game. And that's what it's going to take. Something is going to have to snap for the Cowboys to get the victory. But that's why I feel 75% confident something will snap.
You can get pressure on Purdy, but at the end of the day, you got to score. And that's how you really put pressure on Brock Purdy, is if you get up 14-0 and Brock Purdy is, okay, now's the time you've got to go do something. You're down multiple scores. And is that the point where you're in an obvious passing situation, the Cowboys can tee off on you? You know, you can get all the pressure you want, but if Dak Prescott on that offense don't score, it's not going to put any pressure on Purdy. I want to see Purdy really under pressure. That Raiders game, he was under pressure and shined a little bit, but that's not the pressure of your season's on the line against a really good team. I want to see how he does there if it happens.
I'm going to flip the script, and I'm going to ask Rob a question. How confident are you in Dak Prescott against this tough Niners defense? The Niners can make quarterbacks look bad, and Dak Prescott had some games later in the regular season where he was looking not so good against kind of average defenses.
I think it's a consistency. You saw his big letdown there to end the season versus the Commanders. So I think Prescott has to stay consistent, and he should have had a great game against the Commanders. He didn't. And can he carry that success over? I think he can. I think he knows that this Cowboys fan base and the fans put pressure on you. Let's be honest. Your fans put a lot of pressure on you because they want you to win, and you feel that pressure, especially a Cowboys program finally getting their first road playoff win in 30 years. I think Prescott's going to struggle early, but I think he's going to settle into some rhythm. And this has to be a defining moment for him because the Cowboys fan base is sick and tired of not seeing consistency in the postseason. Prescott has to perform, or I think I'm not going to say they're going to cut ties with him, obviously, but he's got to perform in this ball game, or it's just going to be the same old for the Cowboys.
That monkey might stay on their back for a while of not reaching the NFC Championship game, and then their playoff woes continue.
Thinking about the Niners' defense, their defensive line's the best part about their defense. It's completely loaded. Their linebacker core is phenomenal, led by Fred Warner. So you're not going to be able to run the ball. And I feel like Tony Pollard is a massive weapon there. It's going to be difficult to run the ball on them. Their secondary is good. It's very good. That's the one area I'm like, it's good, but it's not the same level as their linebacking core or their defensive line. Charvarius Ward's a good corner, but nobody was telling me how good Charvarius Ward was when he was on the Chiefs all those years. They just weren't. I think CeeDee Lamb and other people can have some success there, but it's going to have to be won by Dak Prescott. It's not going to be one. You're not going to be able to rely on, hey, let's give this thing to Tony Pollard and have him bounce it to the outside and throw some screens to him and do all that kind of stuff. It's not going to work that way. I think you're going to have to rely on the passing game. So this one will come down a lot to Dak and see how he handles it, because it's going to be very interesting to see if he's able to come up with a victory there for the Cowboys. And also the NFC East, props to the NFC East. Got the Cowboys, got the Eagles, and the Giants. 3 of the 4 teams left in the NFC are from the NFC East. So that division that we thought was going to be extremely weak when the season started turned out to be by far the best one, probably in all of football, even better than the NFC West that we all thought was going to be ridiculously stacked. Ended up being pretty mediocre, and the NFC East definitely the toughest one here this season. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Plenty more to get to, including what happened there with the Chargers and what's next around the coaching world in the NFL when we come back.
Hear the herd here. Bison's 1660.
We take great pride in really doing all the research and the work behind the scenes to make sure that our products just work.
We have our own staff member that helps pick the hybrids and the varieties that work in our area. It's meant for you, not for somebody 200 miles away.
We test our seed locally. We produce our seed locally, so we get to see our production fields, where they need to be, and if they work there.
Need seed? Think ProSeed. ProSeed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Quit hitting snooze for the same old thing every single day.
Oh no.
There's more to life. What about a career in the hottest and most exciting industry in the world? A career at Radio FM Media selling audio, digital, and event marketing is for people that are self-driven, personality plus, multitasker, persistent, have a creative streak, and love the idea of having a career instead of a job. This is a 6-figure sales job for highly motivated salespeople. Does this sound like you? Send your resume to Jessica at RadioFMmedia.com.
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Corwin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Drive off in a new Ram Bighorn truck with financing as low as 1.9% and up to $9,000 off in rebates. That's 1.9% financing and up to $9,000 off on new Ram Bighorn. That's not all. Save up to $4,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokees. Your new vehicle is waiting for you at Corwin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
Are you an electrician? Are you looking for a change? JDP Electric is looking for commercial, industrial, and service electricians. JDP is looking for both journeyman and apprentice electricians. You could start your career today with a family-owned and operated business who's been serving our community for over 20 years. Full-time positions available with great pay and benefits. Call 701-232-1991 or email info@jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference.
No matter where you work, whether it's at your kitchen table or in the office, you need to collaborate with your team. ProConnect from Consolidated Communications makes it happen. You'll never miss a call when you can answer from your desk phone, laptop, or cell phone. And you can communicate instantly using real-time messaging. Confidently connect with customers over secure video conferencing and work together to create and share documents. Get ready to connect, collaborate, and communicate brilliantly. Choose ProConnect, your team collaboration tool from Consolidated Communications.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
About a month ago, we had some unexpected plumbing issues. We called Valley Service Mechanical in a panic and were pleasantly surprised with the professional that came to our rescue. He took the time to explain the issues to us, and you could really tell he enjoyed what he was doing and the pride he had representing Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Corwin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Drive off in a new Ram Bighorn truck with financing as low as 1.9% and up to $9,000 off in rebates. That's 1.9% financing and up to $9,000 off on new Ram Bighorn. That's not all. Save up to $4,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokees. Your new vehicle is waiting for you at Corwin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
New year, new opportunities. If you're looking for a new career, see all that's available to you at the Hired Job Fair, presented by Job Service North Dakota and Rural Minnesota SEP. Today, January 17th at the Delta Hotel from 1 to 4 p.m. Meet employers from a variety of positions, from industrial entry level to healthcare to laborers to real estate. There's a position for anything that may interest you. Bring your resume and stop by. Today, January 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. The Hired Job Fair at the Delta Hotel.
You may not have heard, but the Insiders is now under new management.
Did you see the memo about this?
Here's Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo. Okay?
On Bison 1660.
Back in here with you today on the program, brought to you, of course, by the great team at the Spirit Shop. Get all your favorites for watching football at the Spirit Shop. Great selection of beer, wine, and spirits at the best prices, plus great weekly specials. Spirit Shop off 13th Avenue here in Fargo, behind Shields Home and Hardware, helping bring you Easton Stick each and every week. We've appreciated them very much for that. And our conversations with Easton have been a lot of fun, and hoping for the very best for him wherever he lands. There's a chance it's still the Chargers, but I do think he legitimately wants to go somewhere where there's not a franchise quarterback there, possibly. I would love him to go there. That's me selfishly, personally saying that I'd love him to go there where he has a chance to possibly at least throw his hat in the ring. It's hard for him when you haven't had any starts and you haven't had that chance to prove it. You go to a franchise and no one's going to be like, oh yeah, this guy should be the starting quarterback. They're going to have like a veteran or something like that where they think he should be the starter, or someone they drafted. That's kind of the situation. We know what that's like in the NFL, but hopefully the best for Easton. We'd love to see him catch on somewhere, even if it is catch on and stay in there with the Chargers on a long-term deal as well. That'd be good for him as a full-on backup. I know he's appreciated and enjoyed his time out there in L.A. Again, text in the keyword MONSTER to 701-476-1660 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Monster Jam at the Fargo Dome coming up on February 4th. Text the keyword MONSTER to 701-476-1660. The NFL coaching ranks, we already kind of talked about this with Easton, but Joe Lombardi gone as the offensive coordinator for the L.A. Chargers. Shane Day, the quarterback's coach, also gone. You wonder, is this Brandon Staley doing what was kind of asked of him? Like, there's got to be some changes. Is it these guys kind of falling on the sword for Brandon Staley, or is he really aware that the offense needs to be changed, that they need to do something different on offense? Overall, what do you guys think of the offense for the Chargers this year? Dealt with some injuries, lost a left tackle early, lost Keenan Allen and Mike Williams for a decent chunk of the season. Obviously, you had Herbert, who was banged up a little bit too, but played every game, or at least started every game. Overall, what do we think of the Chargers on offense, Micah?
They've always been super talented, and not even just on offense, but defense as well. And as a person that is not a fan of the Chargers as much, and I don't always see their games, but you always worried about playing the Chargers, whether it's one of my teams, or you're just like, wow, they have just a lot of young talent. They draft really well, but
they
now
win the offseason a lot.
But now, yeah, they're off-season winners,
they got
but
Khalil Mack,
sometimes they're not
JC
season
Jackson.
winners.
They got the big names in the offseason, which is why people were high on that division overall.
Well, yeah, you look at, they have really good guys at the important positions. You look at their defensive end, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. You need good edges when you're playing defense. You need good corners. Well, they got corners too. Well, they have Derwin James on the back end just in case. And then they have really good receivers on offense. And you have the quarterback with Herbert. And you have Eckler, who's one of the leading touchdown scorer this year on offense. Tons of talent, and it's hard to pinpoint what their issues have been, and I guess they just keep going, okay, the coaching. What's wrong with the coaching right now?
Help, maybe linebacker help a little bit, but
that's not a key position in the NFL anymore. Your most important positions are edges on your offensive line and defensive line, quarterback, corners, receivers.
Yeah.
And they have that.
Were you surprised to see the firings? I kind of thought, and to be fair, I haven't kept up 100% with both sides of that with the Chargers, but what's up with the defense? You would think, okay, you're giving up some points, those kind of things are happening, but you don't fire your DC, you go all seeing quarterbacks coach.
And the thing is, firing the DC doesn't do anything because your head coach is really the defensive coordinator.
Kind of
he's the one
show.
that calls the defensive game plan, and he's your defense. He was brought in to be the defensive guy. He was dubbed as this extremely bright mind on defense from the Rams and having all the answers you needed on the defensive side, and I would say their defense is completely loaded of talent, and there's no reason they shouldn't be a top 3 defense probably, but haven't quite been there. And they've got the talent to do it, so it's interesting why they haven't been able to get there. I'm not surprised by the firings at all. When you blow a 27-0 lead, somebody's got to answer for that. And I think the offense all year lacked a little identity. Like, okay, you've got Herbert, but you also got Eckler, two phenomenal players, and I think Eckler was kind of a little bit of your identity, but I think their identity was just being super ultra aggressive. That's what their identity of their team is to me, that they're going to go for it on every fourth down. That's like 2 yards and less. They're going to be aggressive there. They're going to forego field goals to try and score touchdowns. Some of that has worked. Some of that hasn't worked for Brandon Staley, the analytics game. That's kind of the identity of that team a little bit. They've been very aggressive there, but offensively there wasn't this huge identity of big plays or taking what the defense gives you or anything like that. And so I think for that reason you kind of move off of the offensive coordinator. And I think it's also probably a little bit, for being honest, it's probably a little bit of Brandon Staley finding someone to take the fall, because when you lose a 27-0 lead, yeah, it's on everybody. It's not just on the defense, but you gave up a lot of points there late. Offense didn't score either, which doesn't help you, but you can't give up those amount of points, and you're not going to fire yourself. So if the ownership is so irate and upset about what in the world happened, you need to have someone to take the fall for it. Maybe it's just the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach.
I feel like when you have a huge lead like that and momentum is on Jacksonville's side in that second half, something has to change. And whether it's the head coach that has to gather the troops and be like, regroup right now and let's get our heads on straight, or the leaders of the team, the captains of the team. I don't understand how it can fall on the offense when the offense built the lead for you. Granted, the defense was making plays in the first half, but where are those plays in the second half?
4 interceptions.
That's where I'm at.
Where are those plays in the second half?
Well, do you want to get another 4 interceptions?
Not that, but get some stops.
Yeah. It's on both sides. Get some stops, but also score more than 3 points.
You scored 27 in the first half.
You got 4 turnovers in the first half. The defense, both sides played great in the first half. Both sides played awful in the second half.
But I don't know how that. How can that just fall on the offensive coordinator? I agree with your statement that it's scapegoating the offensive coaches there. But it's like, come on. I think this falls on Brandon Staley more than anybody else.
But Brandon Staley's not going to fire himself.
Yeah.
Well, the Chargers could fire Brandon Staley.
They could.
Which I would have agreed with more than firing the offensive coordinator.
Well, if you fire the coach, you're firing everybody. It's going to be a whole new staff out there. And I think you got to the playoffs. It's a step in the right direction. And if you were going to be guaranteed to get Sean Payton, yes. But I think other people have come out and said the same thing I said. I don't think Sean Payton to the Chargers is any sort of guarantee, because they love their draft capital there. They're not looking to give up a first-round pick for a coach. You're going to pay top dollar for a coach. Not that they can't or they won't, but their last couple of coaches have all been first-time coaches who are typically a little bit cheaper on the compensation level. So I didn't think that was a slam dunk. And if you're going to not have Sean Payton, why get rid of Staley when he just got you to the playoffs? And you had a 27-0 lead. You were right there. You should have gotten to the next round. So bring him back, and hopefully the next time you build a 27-0 lead in the playoffs, you don't blow it.
Well, it's tough because you mentioned there was a lot of talent on this team, and a little trivia for you. Who is the quarterback that had 25 touchdown passes, joined Pro Football Hall of Famer Peyton Manning, is the only players in NFL history with at least 25 touchdown passes in each of their first 3 seasons.
I'll go with Justin Herbert.
And that's who it is.
Bear.
A lot of talent on that team, but it's just tough whenever you can't come ahead, and then you're right, somebody has to take the blame for it.
Yep, and that ends up being the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach. And with them being fired, it tells me that Brandon Staley is not getting fired, because otherwise they would have just done that. So it looks like he's going to be sticking there. Are we going over or under Friday afternoon after the show for Ed Donatel, no longer the DC of the Vikings?
Seems like Kevin O'Connell's too nice of a guy to fire him right now.
It seems like he's too nice of a guy to just fire him, and he wants it to be
I think this would be an elongated,
a mutually parted ways thing.
I think this is going to be an elongated process. I don't think he's going to be fired immediately. They're going to look through everything, and that's what they said with Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, that they're going to look things over, analyze, and make a decision.
How elongated are you predicting?
Are you over or under 4 weeks?
I'm going to be under 4 weeks, but I think it's going to take over. I think it's going to be more than 2 weeks.
I don't think it's going to be that long. I think one way we find out the decision, one way or another. You got to make a decision and move on. You can't keep everybody in limbo too. So I would hope it would be by the middle of next week. One way or another, we find out what they're thinking on the defensive side of the football. I'll say this about Ed Donatel. I don't think he did a good job. The defense never got better. But we've seen this defensive personnel with Mike Zimmer in a different scheme, and now with Ed Donatel in this scheme, and they're both atrocious. So the personnel needs to change over too, but I would also change over the defensive coordinator. Let's take our final break. We'll come back and wrap up the show for you next.
You're listening to The Insiders on your home for NDSU sports. Bison 1660.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
Snow, ice, and below zero temps. Typical Midwest weather, but not so kind to your vehicle. That's why Jiffy Lube of Fargo is here to make sure you have your vehicle in top working condition and ready for these winter roads and temps. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, no appointment needed at any of the 3 locally owned locations. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for 5 decades.
When it's time to make your next move, turn to Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty to put the full court press on your home search. Whether you're looking for a quiet home in the suburbs or something downtown, let Todd Kettermas run the point for you in the search for your dream home. Call Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
It's the Confident in Me sale at Catalyst Clinical Spa. M-Sculpt, M-Sculpt Neo, M-Tone, M-Cella, and the all-new M-Face. The more package treatments you buy, the more you save on multiple devices. Save 10, 20, or up to 30% off. Friends, this is the best sale Catalyst will have on these non-invasive treatments this year. Book a free consultation and see for yourself how great you can feel and look in 2023. It's the Confident in Me sale. Go to catalystmedicalcenter.com and look under specials.
It's a new year and a great time to remind you that you should have 2 routine dental visits a year. The best way to stop dental issues is to detect them early or stop them from happening in the first place. It's Amanda, and I smile with confidence because of the team at About Smiles Dental. They've been caring for my family's smiles for years. At About Smiles Dental, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. Plan ahead and call now to book your appointments. We love the team at About Smiles Dental, and you will too.
Tharaldson Ethanol, the ethanol plant located in Castleton, is accepting applications for a process operator. Work 4 days on, 4 days off, night and day swing shifts. Applicant must have a general understanding of process and operating procedures and a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Tharaldson Ethanol offers on-the-job training and an excellent benefits program. Email your resume to hr@tharaldsonethanol.com or apply in person at 3549 153rd Avenue Southeast in Castleton.
I can't help but rave about the wonderful countertops that Northern Stone has put in my home. Now, something new to rave about. Tile. Northern Stone has a few openings for tile installation right now. You will be so impressed with Northern Stone's tile installer and his attention to detail. The backsplash is the final jewel to finish your project. So, if you already have tile or you need to find tile, Northern Stone can help. They have beautiful tile in stock, and right now, their talented tile guy has a few openings. Go to northernstone.com.
Start building your career at Doosan Bobcat in Gwinner today. Bobcat has current openings for assemblers and material handlers. Bobcat Gwinner offers competitive pay, great benefits, opportunities for long-term growth, and a $5,000 relocation bonus for qualified candidates. Walk-in interviews will take place Wednesday, January 18th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Springs Golf Course located at 565 Bogey Road in Gwinner. For more information, visit bobcat.com/nowhiring.
With 6 crunchy beef tacos plus a pound of potato olays, our 6-pack in a pound is perfect for date night, movie night, 1,000-piece puzzle night, camping, tailgates, payday, birthdays, or any day that ends in Y.
The 6-pack in a pound, now $2 off, only from Taco John's.
True taco lovers can't say Tuesday without thinking taco, especially at the home of Taco Tuesday, Taco John's. So this taco, head to Tuesday John's for Taco Tuesday for $1.19 deals on delicious beef Tuesdays. Tacos. Taco John's.
The place you go for all your Bison news first. You've got the insiders right here on Bison 1660.
12:57 the time here on the Insiders. Thanks for everybody for listening. Appreciate our guest today. Adam Hildebrand was great to have on. Joe Esposito with the unlikely connection to Roseau, Minnesota, and also to former high school friends of one Rob Hipp. It Those are high school friends.
I had no
correct?
idea when I reached out. Yeah, because I reached out to their staff there at KC, and I said I knew they didn't have radio people. I was like, hey, who can come on the show? And they got back to me right away and say Joe Esposito would love to. And then once we got him on, I was reading the bio. I was like, whoa, Angelo State. I know a couple of kids from there. They used to heavily recruit my high school.
Did they recruit you?
They did not. I did not play.
Fair enough.
I did not play. DNP, inactive.
And then I also appreciate Easton Stick stopping by. Of course, our conversations with Easton have been a lot of fun, brought to you in part by Red River Commodities, online at redriv.com. The makers of Sun Butter, delicious sunflower butters the whole family will enjoy, free of the top 8 food allergens as well. I myself love chocolate Sun Butter, free of peanuts, tree nuts, soy, and dairy. Again, online at redriv.com. That's it for me. I'm out the rest of the week. We got the women's basketball. We're traveling bright and early tomorrow morning, heading down to DFW, flying right back down to Dallas, and then flying over to Tulsa and game against Oral Roberts and against UMKC. So, Rob, you got the rest of the way here, my friend.
It sounds like a country song. Down to DFW and up to Tulsa. Come on. That's kind of what I thought whenever you said that.
Next number one hit.
It
is.
It's
going to be played probably at WeFest.
And where was that town in Minnesota you were talking about with
Roseau.
Coach? Yeah, that's the number one song up there in that town.
Yes, that's exactly it. So you got it the rest of the way. What can people expect?
They can expect a lot of goodness. We're going to have some
Cole Jurek tomorrow.
Cole Jurek's going to be in with me. Tamarick Williams going to join us in studio. So T-Mac will be here. Chris Vanini, you set that up. I appreciate it. Dr. Cook will be here. How about Spencer Wagey? Scott Anderson will come in. Cody Mauk, we'll talk to him. I've got Coach Brent Grablichoff joining us from Kicking World that we joked about, and I said, you know what, why not?
Talk some kicking.
We're going to talk a little kicking. Maybe ask Phil what he thinks of
You get
Mayor.
Cole Jurek's eulogy on the Vikings. He is okay. He is doing well, getting over it, but it's sensitive. It's a sensitive subject. It was a tough loss, tough way to go out. Good season, but tough way to go out. And he wants to just burn the whole thing down. He really does. He wants to just burn it down and start from scratch. That's what he kind of wants to do.
That's why it took him, 3 days to get back to me. Whenever I asked him, hey, you want to come on the Insiders?
Yeah, probably why. He was still a little depressed by everything that happened. So I don't blame him. I was right there with him for a little bit. That'll do it for today, though. Congratulations as well to Mary in West Fargo, our winner of Monster Jam tickets. How about we do this right now? How about caller number 4 to 701-476? Call in right now. Caller number 4 wins a pair of men's basketball tickets to men's basketball versus ORU and men's basketball versus Kansas City, because you listened all the way through the end of the show. Caller number 4 right now, 701-476-1660, a pair of tickets to both games. That does it for today. Back with you again tomorrow on the program.
Why the sad face? My hip has been hurting so much. I even had to miss dance. Did you know that you can make an appointment with Anna at Apex Physical Therapy? She helped me